At the beginning of the story, we see countless monsters entered this world from another world, and because of this, humanity had to face the biggest challenge till date. But thank God for the heavens who did not leave humanity alone, because suddenly all the humans got a strange mark on the back of their hands, and because of this, different types of unique occupations also became awakened, and from that the era of changing occupations started. That too to become a hunter, but despite that only 3 of the people who were 8 awakened could reach the mythic ranked class, and the first hunter among them was Ghost Blade Elf from United States of America. The second one was Hell Dragon Rider Sustef from Russia, and then the last one was Frost Mage King Quan from Frost Nation. And as the myth class rank outcasts all the people then, because of that the Lighthouse Kingdom of Russia of Frost Nation, all of them together started overtaking all the other nations, and that is only because they wanted to defeat all the other countries. But once in 100 years, a prodigy like him appears in the Dragon Kingdom, who is the top expert of Dragon Kingdom Asura, and within just 10 years he made the biggest record in the whole of China, and he became the only person who could come from all the other 70 worlds. But when Earth suddenly, the 9th rank strongest monster wave was invited upon him. Then Asura, who had changed his class 8 times, was killed while defending Earth from all of them. But he had sacrificed his own life to protect the Dragon Kingdom, and today it has been 100 years, and that too on Zhao Log's death anniversary. So, because of the ceremony which was held in his memory, all the top-class hunters of the Dragon Kingdom attended it, and at the same time. Statistics showed that currently there are 1,025,000 hunters in the Dragon Kingdom, which is 11 times more than last year, and out of these, all the hunters of 10th rank have become core hunters, which supersede and all the rest of the awakeners who were awakened during Asura's time. Then does this mean that we are going to see the next Asura here again? But at the end the scene changes, and we are shown a girl who is sleeping in her room. But the system in the room is saying that the gate of the other world is going to open soon. Hunter, so prepare yourself quickly. And on hearing the same voice, the boy immediately opens his eyes and starts seeing that message, and the system is saying to the smoke, Hunter, prepare yourself. But on seeing that, the boy immediately gets up and sits, and then he is thinking with great surprise, am I not dead yet, and where am I exactly right now? My head is hurting a lot right now. While saying this, he starts remembering his earlier memories where we see that his girlfriend leaves him and goes away. That too just because this boy, he is a trash awakener, and then on the other hand his younger brother also gets admitted in the hospital, and because of that he needs a lot of money for his brother's treatment. A poor man who awakens as a monster tamer has death written in his fate, and that too in this world. Brother, forgive me, I am totally useless. Now I could not save you, and neither will I be able to save myself. And after remembering all this, the demon in the present is saying, whose memories are these? And I had never thought that I will be reincarnated again after 100 years, and that too in some other form. In the body of a monster whose name is exactly the same as mine, and the monster tamer Aiken most of the time relies on his parents to fight with other monsters, and then apart from increasing their level, they can't leave behind the growth of their pets too. So according to someone's analysis, that if you want to become a very powerful monster tamer, then you should have wealth of at least a nation. So for that reason, for a normal person to become an awaken like a monster tamer is very bad news for him. And then this useless Jang, who was a failure in his life, took his life. But on the contrary, he was once the strongest awakener in the whole Dragon Kingdom. But now that I have taken over your body, and since you have also been revived from the smoke, then for that reason I am yours. I will take all the responsibilities without any regrets, and I will also be a conqueror of this outer world. Yes, weak people live on the mercy of strong people. So you should consider this as a thank you from me. And after saying this, his system is saying to Dower from a distance that the gate of the world is going to open soon. Then Hunter, get ready quickly. Now he sees Asura and gives the order. Then quickly open the space gate. You come. The Asura immediately enters that gate, and then as soon as he comes, his system is saying again that Hunter Asura system has detected that you were offline for the last 100 years, due to which you have got 22 quadrillion points, and congratulations because you defeated the 9th rank wave of monsters. Then due to which you have got the achievement of mythic rank. You have got it, and along with it you have also got the treasure of mythic rank, which is Supreme Divine Decrees, and your Supreme Divine Decrees will get activated soon. Then in return for that your earning will increase by 1,000 folds, and that too in both offline and online, and its effect is being applied on you right now. While saying this much, we see a very powerful thing coming out from inside Asura's body, and then his system again says that you have achieved an additional 999x offline rewards, which is your 22 trillion ability power, and he is watching and saying very happily what 4 trillion ability points This is the first such reward that I have received, that too after defeating that highest rank warrior, and this is really very much. It is generic, but after so much time its system is saying again that you have got a new class also, so reset it quickly. And now there are 7 myth core classes below, so select one of these classes. And when you say come, 7 classes open up in front of you, out of which first is Undead, Death Knight, second Warrior, Shadow Swordsman, third Asian, Shadow Ripper, fourth Divine Priest, fifth Hellfire Mage, sixth Archer, Spectral Hunter, and lastly Monster Tamer was awakened in the form of Necrology. But during that time the strongest core class was also in the whole other world. Those monster tamers were, but there is only one problem in that occupation, that is those people need a lot of astronomical ability power to level up themselves, and their pets also, so because of that their growth was also according to their occupation. He used to be very difficult to do this, but now that I have become reincarnated from the pressure, and when I also have 1,000,000 years worth of offline ability, then naturally my top choice will be Necrology. He is saying, congratulations to you, the 4th mythical core class, advanced class, Master Tamer Necrology. Josu is saying happily that I have got 100 star points in the beginning, and this is really very strong. Then as I had expected, he also comes from the mythical core class. We see in front of him the Necromancer. He can command all the dead in the underworld, and the Necromancer can attack any master and make him his pet. But he cannot trade him. Rather, he can increase the power of any of his other masters by feeding them to them, and by eating all the necrotes, he can increase their power. They can evolve themselves and go to mythic rank, but there will be no limit in the loyalty of their pet, and this is what Asura is saying after seeing all the other abilities. The normal monster tamers get their monster intellect after completing the 2nd mission, and that too from a very rare mission reward, due to which it becomes very difficult to improve their character. But I did not expect at all that one can even harvest a Necrology monster, and then make it their own pet and even take it to mythical rank, and in my previous life I had cleared all 70 worlds with the help of epic rank class, and that too within 10 years. Because of which I came to the top 1 in the whole of China. But in this life I am starting from the mythical rank. So with this I will perfectly clear all the last worlds very easily, and then I will become the strongest, not only in China but in this whole world. Asura appears and immediately enters the 2nd world, and then his system says welcome to the 1st world, which is the source of nightmare, and this is a safe zone which has been selected according to the login location of your system. And the name of this place is Doomsday Village, and remember that this place is a safe zone. So because of that you cannot fight here, so then confirm whether you want to use your real ID Asura here. Now hearing this, Asura says no, here my ID will be 0, and while saying this he is thinking this in my life. The assistance of Asura is just 0. With the soul speaking, the Asura comes down and says that this outside world looks exactly like my real world, and it should have been really full of features, so I am not able to see monsters anywhere. And after hearing that, a man from the side says, brother, this is a safe zone. So because of that all the monsters are on the outside, and then the system goes there and tells everyone that the first mission of this world has come. So all of you can see it in your mission panel, and after seeing all this, the Asura checks his first mission, that being a soul survivor, he has to break the pattern of this doomsday, and along with that he has to break through many climates and also crash the darkness. And seeing that Asura sees the first mission of his world, which is that he has to kill 1,000 monsters in this world and friends. After killing all those monsters, he has to collect the silver coins from them, and then as soon as he completes both these missions, he will immediately teleport to the boss of this world, and then as soon as he defeats that boss, he will teleport inside the world from a distance, and after seeing that, the one who is there is thinking that it looks like this is a completely normal layout, and there is no change here as well. So first of all, I will go and buy some equipments. That too before going on my mission. As soon as he says come, Asura reaches a weapon shop there, and then the owner of that place is saying, hello customer, can I know what you need? And seeing that Hirahota is thinking in his mind that this is the equipment shop of the system. It is exactly like before, and this place provides only a few basic items, and at the most only 1-star equipment will be available here. And then the owner said, my friend, are you not satisfied by seeing this much? But inside my shop you will get more high-graded equipment too. But for that there is only one problem. You will need some copper coins. On hearing this, he gives coins to Asura and says, these are 100 copper coins. Then quickly give me a magic staff. And after seeing all this, all the other hunters present there start giving different types of advice to Asura. But Asura ignores all their advice and goes from there. He says thanks for all your advice, but a girl is speaking from behind that can't we just refine the weapon which has a higher rank star, and then its attack power also increases. And after listening to that, another man is saying that to refine a weapon, ability power is required, which you can get only from mission reward or by farming monsters. But that thing is very valuable, but despite that, if you use that thing to refine a 1-star staff, then it means that your brain is completely dead. But this is absolutely normal, that too, for any new hunter. But it is not worth it at all that they spend the 100 copper coins they get in the beginning on any equipment. But after listening to all of them, the Asura looks at his weapon and says that it is very difficult for a normal hunter to farm ability points. So because of that, it is impossible for them to refine any 1-star equipment. But it is a matter of shame that the last thing I will be lacking in will be my ability power, and as soon as I say no, Jojra immediately starts refining the magic wand there using his ability power, and then he tells his system to keep refining it continuously and don't stop until I say so. Listening to this, his system upgrades that wand to its highest level, and then his system tells him that you have refined this weapon using your 985 ability points, and because of this the gold has been broken. And then after seeing all this, the Asura is happy and says that finally my preparation is also complete, so now the time has come for me to show a good show. Saying this, the scene changes. We are shown the world 1 origin of nightmare, and here the nightmare of professional novice starts. Now there we see that the hunters are fighting with a very powerful wolf, but that wolf is so powerful that after seeing it, the hunters there are saying out of fear, what the hell, this is the lowest level, and that too in these. The HP of this monster is so high that my stick is not able to make a dent on it, but it is attacking us like a new professional, and if it continues like this, then we will surely get killed here. But as soon as we say this, we see a very bright light coming from the sky, and then it comes straight and hits the wolf, and seeing this, all the hunters present there get very surprised. But then we see Asura, who with the burning effect of his flame prisoner staff destroys the wolf with just one attack, and then Asura standing there is thinking that the professionals of mythical rank have maxed out base buff staff and also have max level equipment, so because of that this was the muted wolf, which even ordinary professionals cannot defeat. People team up and say that I can defeat him with just one single blow. We see other hunters on the side who are very surprised to see Asura there, and they are saying, "Oh mother, what a dangerous amount of damage was done," and seeing the same. A girl from the side is also saying that all the equipment he has is of golden color. Then it does not mean that he is a professional. Now after hearing this, the first one says that it is impossible because who will have such Elon energy that too in such an early stage that he can refine his Nawa staff here. But leaving that aside, he is definitely a big man. But from there we see Asura, who is standing there and thinking that the experience of the level monsters is very less. So that is why I need to kill all the high level monsters. That too to gain maximum experience points. And in the first world, apart from the muted wolf in lore, there are also level 3 and 4 Ven spiders and level 5 and 7 iron armored scorpions and level 8 and 9 Bjark boar. And then the ultimate king in the last is Bjark boar king, which is level 10. So the best choice for me at the present time would be level 3 monsters, which would be inside that empty factory at the present time. The soul speaks as soon as Asura starts leaving from there. The hunters there are saying, "Senior brother, how will it be that we all make a team together and we also have a healer, tank and a DPS?" Now hearing that, the girl also says, "Yes, senior brother, we can also help you in this thing." Now then the third girl says, "I am also a healer, I can help you, but I can't hear this much." The Asura scares all 3 of them and says that I don't need anyone. As soon as the soul says this, the Asura leaves the place immediately. But by then the 3 hunters present there are very scared, and then one of them says that, "Did you guys just feel that his presence was more terrifying than those monsters? And now look there." He is going towards that empty factory, and I've heard that all the monsters inside that factory are of very high level and are also very dangerous. Then did he plan to go alone and fight with all of them? And a big man is always a big man who always chooses other ways. And then we see the Asura again, who kills all the monsters coming in front of him one by one in one stroke. After killing all the masters, he gets only 1 level up and he reaches level 2. But then suddenly the whole force of Weenie Miss Spider attacks him again. But Asura easily destroys the whole force of those spiders, and after killing all of them, Asura's level increases again, and then his system is saying to him, "Congratulations, you have unlocked the first slot of your skill, and along with that you have also got your first skill, which is Fireball." Now even after seeing it, he is saying, "I did not expect it even a little bit. I thought that after leveling up I will get so many bonuses, and that too because of the mythical level profession, and this is 6 times more than all the other professions, and I am leveling up 3 times at the same time, and because of this all my skills are getting distributed equally, and right now my skills have reached 18, and the profession of Beastmaster follows a growth path, which is similar to the initial stage of any match, and then, so because of that it will be better for me to increase the stable output quickly, and then immediately after that improve my agility, and this is not that powerful for my initial scale and for any ordinary profession which has very limited energy. Because of that, no one would want to waste their energy on it. But as I do not have any shortage of ability power. As soon as he says this, the Asura takes his fireball to the max level, and after seeing the same, the Asura smiles and says that this is very good. My initial damage has reached 140. The system in your system is saying to him, congratulations, your fireball has become a super fireball and has also become a rank. But if you want to upgrade it even more, then you will have to proceed in your second job, and after seeing the same, the Asura is saying to do that in this way. After completing my task in the first world, it will be very easy for me to reach level 8, and in the earlier time, this much would have been enough to challenge the ultimate boss and then to clear the first world. As he says this, the Asura reaches in front of a big gate, and then I see there he is saying, is there anyone there? Anna says as he opens the gate and comes inside. He sees a very injured hunter lying on the ground in front of him, and then looking at him, Asura thinks that if I leave this fact aside, here any player who dies gets taken in reality too. Then because of that, this world is not different from any other game, and all the quests, dungeons, and these NPCs are in front of me only. Then the NPC says to Asura that my wife and children have been killed by that monster. Then Hunter, will you please help me to kill that hateful scorpion? Along with the soul speaking, Jasso system tells him that you have triggered a storyline quest. Then would you like to accept it? Now after seeing the same, Asura is thinking again that all the weapons that are dropped are also after completing the quest of NPC. They are much better than all the monster weapons they drop. As I have only one staff right now, so this quest will be worth it for me. As soon as he says come, the Asura starts checking the quest, and his mission is that he has to kill the iron-headed Scorpion King and also kill all his small companions. In return, he will get a lot of experience points and a lot of equipment. And after seeing the same, the Asura looks inside and says, is there any movement going on inside? And it looks like there is no monster inside. But despite that, completing this quest will be my top priority for now. Then the intermediate monster, that too the iron-armored scorpion of this first world. It has been a long time since I saw you. As soon as he says this, a whole group of scorpions gather there, and they immediately attack Asura here. But Asura uses his magical spell and jumps and attacks that scorpion himself. But the scorpion dodges his attack and attacks Asura using his collision skill. But Asura uses his power to destroy that level 5 scorpion in one stroke, and as soon as he kills him, we see that a huge blast takes place there, and along with that Asura also gets 5 zazins as an energy. And then Asura says that even though this super fireball is very useful, it consumes a lot of my mana. But if I quickly destroy all these scorpions here, then all the scorpions present here and their emperor will also come here himself. And while talking, we see that the Emperor Scorpion comes out directly from under the ground, and seeing him, Asura also says that finally he has come here. Then I have to finish him here immediately, otherwise my wish will be over. On saying this, Asura immediately uses his very powerful super fireball skill and attacks that Emperor Scorpion, but we see that his arm is so huge that he is not able to attack the Emperor Scorpion. It is so strong that even his fireball does not work on him, and seeing the same, Asura also gets upset and says, oh my god, his armor is very strong as always. Why don't you say this? Scorpion attacks Asura with his paw. Asura dodges his attack and immediately attacks him again with his fireball and says, then what do you think about this place? While saying this, Sarah does a very powerful attack on the backside of Scorpion, and with the same attack we see that the Scorpion Emperor falls down there, and then Asura says, I'm very lucky because I immobilized him here at the right time. That too before my mana got over, and now I have to give one last strike to this Scorpion King. After that my mission will also be completed. But then another horde which is hidden there from behind immediately attacks the Scorpion King and says, we will complete the mission. And I'm going to harvest this Scorpion King right now. But on hearing this, the Asura immediately goes and catches him, and then smilingly looks at him and says, so you finally showed yourself here. And on hearing this, the hunter gets completely worried, and then he thinks, did he already know about us? But he is Asura in that. He immediately uses his power and says some people level up themselves very honestly. But some people kill other hunters secretly and then kill their prey and level up themselves. But this is a very bad thing because you have chosen the wrong target here, until date whatever animus I have faced. He is 1,000,000 times stronger than you. As soon as he says this, Asura shows his power in front of the hunter and does a huge blast. Seeing this, the hunter is very surprised and says how can he do this? But while he is saying this, Asura immediately comes and stands behind him. But the hunter again looks at Asura and says, shouldn't your mana have ended by now? But despite that, how are you still able to activate your skill? And you brat, you don't look new to me. And listening to him, Asura replies, if I hadn't said this at that time, you people would not have come in front of me. While saying this, his system says, congratulations, you have harvested a soul here after killing Babas Armored Scorpion Emperor. Then would you like to absorb that emperor like your pet? And looking at that he goes to sleep and says I feel that my luck is very good because I have triggered this effect so quickly. With the utterance of RT, the Sir absorbs the power of that emperor immediately, and then immediately after that we see a very dark aura coming out from his body, and then his system says that you have just received the Armored Emperor Scorpion. With the utterance of Ot, we see that the Emperor Scorpion comes out there immediately, and then his system says that the loyalty of your Emperor Scorpion has reached infinity for you, and this pet of yours can kill any 10 monsters. It can absorb, and then after that it can be upgraded to elite level, and seeing that, I'm thinking that the main reason due to which it is very difficult for Monster Tamer to grow his pet is that those people have to grow their level also to increase the experience of their pet. Hearing this, his system says that your Scorpion needs 50 less experience points to upgrade it, and seeing that, I am thinking that very less experience is required to upgrade it in the beginning, but as the pads keep getting upgraded, those people need more experience, and due to that it becomes very difficult to upgrade their pad even more. But this is a very bad thing because I have absolutely no shortage of experience points, and along with thinking that I have no shortage of experience points. Asura immediately upgrades his Emperor Scorpion to full power, and with the soul speaking, we see that his Scorpion upgrades from grade D to grade A. Seeing all this, the other hunter regains his senses and says, what are you really, because it is absolutely impossible for a normal pet tamer to gain so much power for himself. On hearing the same, Asura says, ever since I had accepted this mission, I've been feeling that someone is secretly trying to kill me. If you are spying on me, then let me guess that all of you are Asians who target those people who are isolated from others, and luckily we both got the same mission, and because of that you decided that you will secretly ambush me, and when the right opportunity comes you will attack me and kill me, and then you will get all the rewards for yourself. And on hearing this, the hunter starts crying and says that today I thought that this guy will be very weak, so I will bully him and easily get all the rewards for myself. But now it turned out that this guy is very powerful. Now I will have to run away from here by any means. He says to the Asura in the mouth that come on friend, show me your capabilities, you come. On hearing this, his Scorpion immediately attacks the hunter. He attacks and injures him, and then the hunter says, please, I am begging you, don't kill me. But on hearing this, Asura says, in a world where strong people always prey on the weak, a person like you who wants to prey on others, then because of that you should be ready to become the prey yourself. With a spirit speaking, the Scorpion immediately eats the hunter there, but then the scene changes and we are shown that NPC where he happily says to Asura, thank you for taking my revenge. Then from today onwards I will call you my brother Carl, and on hearing this his system says congratulations for completing your quest. Then in return you have got a magical necklace as reward, and also armored leggings, and along with that, you have also upgraded your level again. And after seeing all this, the Asura checks in his system and says, then let me see once what kind of equipment it is, and saying this, he checks the magical necklace and says, whenever you wear this magical necklace, your magical power will increase a lot, and after wearing this armored leggings, you will get very good protection. And after seeing all this, Jasra says, this is a very good equipment because whenever my mana gets over, then I will urgently use it. On saying this, the Asura immediately upgrades both those equipments fully, and then after upgrading, he says, let me go. With these two pieces of equipment, I and my armor can reach level 5 very easily. We will go, but while speaking this much, the system of that place opens up there. It is written in it that a secret trail has appeared suddenly inside Doomsday, and this is going to last for just 1 hour in the rally. So whoever goes first and challenges that rally and clears it will get very good and general rewards in return. After seeing the same, all the other hunters present, they get very surprised. Then one of them says, is there a level 5 rally? But how will we clear that place? But the Asura on the other side says, a level 5 rally. Then with my current abilities, that initial reward will be all mine. And as soon as he says this much, the scene changes again, and we see that many hunters have reached in front of the rally mo, and one of them is saying, hey, what about me? Someone would want to go inside this realm because there will be rewards for the first time inside Babu's secret limit, which are going to be very general, and with that reward we can make a very good fortune too. But listening to him, another hunter from the side is saying that if we think and think, then with our current level, if we go inside that realm, then we will be finished there immediately, and even if we make a lot of money by going there, but we will not survive to spend it. And listening to him, the first one is saying that that is why I am suggesting that we make a team. While Magan was talking like this, we saw that Asura also comes there, and then after listening to him, he is thinking that there are very few people who want to challenge that realm. But while he was thinking like this, a voice comes from behind that everyone move aside, and while he was saying this, we saw that there is another hunter who is wearing a golden colored armor, and that person is also very confident, and seeing him all the hunters are saying that hey, this is President King. But seeing him the hunter is thinking that now who is this person? He has made a very grand entrance here. And he is from his side, and another hunter says, don't you know him, this is Ling King, and he is the son of Lahai, who is the richest man here, and there are 3 biggest pharmacies in this country, and all those 3 pharmacies are owned by Lin Hai fame Leon. They say that their net worth is in billions, and after listening to them, King's companion says that yes, you people are right, our President King is really very wonderful, and all of us who are his subordinates, all of us also have Star 1 equipments, and the cost of each of those equipments is ours. But there is a girl who is very surprised to see Asura and says, what are you doing here? Listen, Asura is thinking to himself after seeing that girl that the original male of this body is his ex-girlfriend and her name is Lin. Now she is Tom Lin. She is saying to Asura that a simple beast like you who cannot even pay his rent. What are you doing here, and are you thinking that you will go and face this level 5 realm? Now after hearing that, Asura angrily replies to him, do you have any problem with this? And seeing Asura's reaction, Lina is very surprised and thinks, what has happened to Jang all of a sudden, and shouldn't he have asked for a part again? That too from me, and that too for a chance. But while thinking so much, she immediately clings to Yaki King and says, for such a special type of realm, only strong people like our master should have the right to go and clear it first, and along with that some people should not daydream. The king who listens to the soul says to Asura, brother, how does it feel when someone dumps you? And if you ask me, then people should know their limits, and there is no need to show any stubbornness here. But after listening to all this, Asura says to her, this is just like an old shoe which I have used earlier. If you ever wore it, then if you like it, then you can keep it with you. The same thing about that special realm. It is not me who is dreaming here, but someone else. Hearing this, Asura is very angry and says to Masura, what are you talking about all this nonsense since then? And Master King, look at him. He is becoming so arrogant. Then hurry up and help me to teach him a lesson. But on hearing this, Jasus tells him that I will give you advice to take care of your life a little. Now Sonak Lin shouts again and says, your threads are absolutely useless, and I know exactly how weak you are, Master. This is a pile of rubbish. But the king is thinking to himself after seeing Asura, this is very strange. I am not able to check his level and profession properly. And to see, he is very angry and says, I am not able to check his level and profession properly. I feel like he is hiding them intentionally and F. With this thinking, he says, forget all this for now because your master is also very busy in tackling that secret railing, so because of that reason I don't have any time to waste on you, so because of that reason I am leaving your useless life. This time I say honor. The king who is going inside that realm with all his companions is saying, brothers, have you all brought the resurrection scroll with you? Then come on everyone, come with me inside that secret realm, and then after going there first of all we clear it. After listening to Anna, all the hunters there start going behind the king with great enthusiasm, and that too inside that realm. But on the other side, all the children who are weak hunters are saying, brother, you should accept that we are very poor, so because of that we are not able to do anything. You can't compete with them. That too with all the rich second generation types. And after listening to him, Josu replies that if you think that you are very weak and you can't compete with them, then you should find a way to make yourself even stronger. While saying so much, he thinks that the original Jang was very poor, but now he has nothing to do with me. That too with Asura. The hunter on his side says again, are you still acting so tough? Here, other people from his side also start saying, wow, did you guys hear that the price of each of those resurrection scrolls is 3,000 rupees, and they have every resurrection scroll, and you can use this resurrection scroll to get your life back 3 times. So after seeing this, I am sure that this time also the Supreme Guild is going to clear this realm. But after listening to all their talks, Joshi was thinking that this is a secret realm and most of the time the bosses guard the place. So with my current abilities I can face all the small monsters very easily, but I am afraid that right now I cannot go and deal with that final boss, but only until I and my Emperor Iron Scorpion both become level 5 and then with the right equipment. And with the maxed out skill, I guarantee that I will be able to do a solo victory over that monster without fail. In the end, we are again shown the king's team where Lin is talking to the king saying, "Brother, he bullied me so much then, why didn't you take revenge from him?" Yes. Now after hearing this, the king replies that there were a lot of people there, so if I killed him then my reputation would have been ruined as a killer and my family's reputation would have been ruined even more. So because of that, I felt that it is not worth it. But you don't worry at all, because later I will do something that will make that useless beast tamer kneel in front of you and apologize. Now, after hearing this, Lin says happily, "Thank you, brother, I knew that you worry a lot about me." Yes, but after saying this, we see Asura from Dower, who immediately comes inside that realm after taking out his scorpion, and then he is saying that all the ordinary beast tamers, their pets need experience like their master. But luckily, this necrolysis is also needed to level up, and as soon as we kill some small monsters, after that my scorpion will level up very easily. After saying this, Asura starts killing all the small monsters one by one with his scorpion. Now all the hunters present, they are looking at him secretly and saying, "Wow, isn't this the same poor hunter who clashed with that king? Then it looks like he is very strong and he can kill level 5 monsters. He is ending it so easily. Now I was wrong that I gave him a chance," and with saying this, we see that all the other girls present there come to Asura, and then they are luring Asura and saying that, "Brother, can you take us with you to fight with all those monsters, and how will it be so that we all become friends here?" And then the girl in the room says, "Brother, can I become your girlfriend? Now I will never cheat you no matter what happens." But after listening to all of them, Asura refuses all 3 of them like a Sigma male, and on hearing Asura's answer, the hearts of all the 3 girls are broken. But then the system there gives an alert to all the people again that this secret realm is going to be closed within 10 minutes, and then after seeing the same thing remains. What happens is that he is saying that after cupping my level 5 armored scorpion, my defense will become even better, so because of that I will use it as a tank when I fight in the front row. Then from behind I will focus to attack that monster, and with the help of this equipment, with the help of which I can restore my mana very quickly. With the help of that I can use my fireball continuously, and then because of that, the efficiency of killing that monster will also become very high for me, and 10 minutes will be enough for me. Now the scene changes again. We see that the king is in a very bad condition and is saying in anger, "Diamond, if we had done a little more, then we would have definitely defeated that monster scorpion there." And then hearing this, the president is saying along with him, "A level 7 monster, and in front of him we like the level 2 professionals are just like ants." And then seeing that the one who is lying there says, "Brother, all those monsters in that realm are very powerful, so we should focus on staying alive." Now hearing that the other one says, "Yes, he said the right thing before that monster chases us. We should use the reincarnation scroll to run away from here. Otherwise we will all be finished here." But on not hearing that, King Hodot says in a very surprised tone that someone is coming towards us, while we are saying that Asura comes in front of them from the shining light, and seeing Asura they say, "Why you and you have come here to tackle this level 5 realm alone, and don't you have even a little fear of dying here?" But on hearing this, the other one smiles at them. He starts doing this and seeing that all of them get very angry, and then the king's companion says, "What are you laughing at now? Yes, and this young master of ours will teach you a lesson for sure." But the other men are saying, "Brother, don't get angry here, because this poor man doesn't have any reincarnation scroll, so he must have come here to die for sure." On hearing this, the first one was saying to the doctor, "President, that monster must be coming here soon, so for that reason we have to come here soon. We should leave from here," and they don't listen. While leaving from there, everyone is saying that, "Foolish, you are going to kill yourself here, and this has made my work easy. And now there will be no need for me to kill you myself." Then there is a system that tells Asura that you are welcome in this realm, and then your mission is that you have to kill the guardian of this realm here. And seeing that Kesra says, "Then let's go from here," and there is no need to pay attention to these useless voices, and without saying anything we see that the level 7 boss score comes from inside the ground. And then with his arrival, the system of Asura shows all the status of that monster in front of him, and seeing that Asura is also saying that, "As I had expected from the leader of this scorpion, and this is not the same at all, and that too is many small ones. There were minions like them, and its health bar is also very thick. So my friend, quickly go and attack him." Don't let him sleep. His Emperor Scorpion attacks that boss Scorpion, and then we see that his attack becomes -22 AP. And seeing that Asura is saying, wow, this is very good, because with such good equipment of mine, and this iron-armored Scorpion of mine with its skill, this boss Scorpion is not even able to hurt him, and with not saying anything, Asura continuously starts attacking that level 7 Scorpion with his fireball, and we see that due to his attack, the Scorpion is getting a lot of damage, and immediately after that he also gets very injured. But as soon as he attacks Asura's Scorpion, immediately he blocks his attack, and then seeing that Asura makes a very powerful fireball and hits it directly on the face of that level 7 Scorpion, and with that attack we see that that Scorpion is completely half dead, but Asura hits a final strike and kills that level 7 boss Scorpion instantly, and then after that he puts his foot on its head and says that it was nothing at all. Come in front of me, and then his system tells him again, congratulations player 0, you have cleared this level 5 realm here, so in return you have got secret realm scroll and bleach iron grade. And then seeing this notification, all the hunters outside are saying that someone has cleared that in the rally, and who is this big shot whose name is 0, and this is really very big. It is impressive because he has cleared that level 5 realm, and after seeing the same, both Lin and King have become fully conscious, and then Lin is saying that all the people around here are of level 1 or 3, and on top of that the Guardian is also of level 6 or 7 inside that level 5 realm. Then how did that boss get defeated? Now hearing this, King says that it is not that your ex-boyfriend went inside and defeated that monster there, because after he went inside, this announcement came in front of all of us. Now hearing this, Lin says that this is absolutely impossible because you yourself saw that he had hidden his ID there and he does not even have a pet. Then how is it possible that he went there alone and defeated that level 7 boss there? Defeat him. Now after hearing that, the King also says, yes, I also feel that there is someone else who has defeated that monster there. But despite that, killing that boss Scorpion is not a simple thing at all. So that is why I want you to go and find that player who has cleared that realm. After finding him, offer him a very high reward. That too for joining our Supreme Guild and working with us. When the soul says again, we see Asura there who is saying that the drop rate of this Lord Monster is also very high, and there are a lot of copper points, blueprints and equipment lying here. But the most important thing is this scroll. As soon as he says so, his system starts telling about the information of that scroll, where we see there are 100 points inside the scroll, with the help of which you can upgrade any bronze level scroll from this, and after opening it, you will get guaranteed 5 silver coins and a black iron level bounty mission as well, and Jasra is giving it, and he says that a secret scroll can be upgraded, and that too with just a few dollars, so now let's upgrade it quickly. And on saying this, Asura's system immediately upgrades that scroll and takes it to its full level, and then the reason for seeing that is Asura, and he is saying that before me there was no king level secret scroll in the world, so if I go and sell it in the market, then it will be of great use to me. In return I will get many thousands of points. Then for a normal shifter that amount will be very big, but my goal is to pass this alternate world. And then his system tells him, congratulations, your scroll has turned into a king level secret scroll, and you have also got a golden coin. So your mission is to rescue the survivors, so complete your mission quickly, that too within the limited time. And in return you will get very good general rewards, and seeing that he is saying that difficulty level is 100 and the reward is completely unknown. And this is a king level bounty mission which is to kill NPC, and saying this, checking all the details of that mission. He says is at level 10 Bajak Forest, but I'm still at level 10, I'm only 5 years old, and on top of that all those world borers come in groups. So because of that it will be very difficult for me to face all of them together. But forget it, first I need to find that alien. Then saying come now. The scene changes. You are shown that Bajak Forest where we see a small girl being chased by a world boar. Now that girl is crying and screaming and saying, come please someone save me, please don't chase me, and on hearing this we see that the Asura there immediately comes and kills that world boar and rescues that girl from there. Now that girl says, brother, you have just saved me. The soul is saying, its system is saying, so you have found the survival alien. Then now you have to survive for full 10 hours. But saying this we see there is another world boar. Boar comes and immediately he starts moving like Asura to attack him. And seeing that Asura is charging his power and saying that is this also a part of the mission. Since I found this alien here, these people of World Boar have gone completely crazy. Saying so, Asura immediately attacks that boiled war with his fireball. But immediately after that we see that many of the companions of World War come there, and then seeing that, Asura is a little worried and saying that this monster is very tough and I am a mythical class which is I Cup. that too with a gold enemy staff and also with a rank fireball. But despite that I am not able to move these people from here, but if the girl dies here, then my mission will also fail along with that. And saying this, he takes out his scorpion and says, "Iron Scorpion, you protect me here." And as soon as he says this, his scorpion immediately goes and attacks those boars and taking advantage of this opportunity. Asura immediately uses his super firewall skill and attacks those boars, and with this attack, we see that the boars get damaged a lot, and seeing this, Asura is also happy and says, "Finally, this has worked. Then let's go Scorpion. We just need to finish a few more, and then after that we will be upgraded." After saying this, both of them together start finishing all those boars one by one. But despite that, Joshua is very upset and says, "These boars are coming here non-stop, and now my mana has also been destroyed." Slowly it is ending, and then the girl on the side says, "Brother, are you okay now?" Hearing that, Asura smiles and says, "Don't worry at all, I will take you back from here." But after saying this, we see that Bora immediately uses his vile dash and attacks Asura. But Asura immediately uses his speed to block his attack and creates a very big blast with his fireball. But we see that even that attack doesn't do much to Bor, and then he is in the same state of mind and says, "Thankfully my health bar is very high, otherwise, if this world war had hit me even once, then I would have been knocked out here immediately. But now even this armored scorpion of mine cannot stand against these people for a long time. And I never thought that this Bantiwala, this mission is going to be very difficult for me." But on saying this, the Asura immediately reaches level 7. And because of that his HP and power increases a lot, and on seeing that Jasus is happy and says, "Thank you got us, now I can upgrade 2 levels at the same time." On saying this, he immediately upgrades his emergency attack, and then immediately after that he is seen wearing a ring equipment and saying that, "I got this ring after killing that scorpion leader, and after wearing it I have to do it." Along with saying this, my attack power will increase a lot and my clinging power will also increase a lot. As soon as the soul speaks, Asura appears and immediately using the power of his staff, he creates a very powerful fireball and kills that level 10 boar immediately. And then after killing him, he says happily that this is very good, and if I compare, earlier I had to take 7 or 8 shots to damage them, but now I can kill these boars with just 2 shots of fireball. As soon as he says this, Asura kills all those boars at a great speed, and then after that he stands there and says that, "Finally I have killed this group of wild boars here. So now as soon as I take this girl back inside Doomsday Town, I am sure that my task will be completed." But while saying this, we see that King and Lin both come there, and then King is saying to him that, "So you are not killed inside that realm," and after hearing this, Jasus replies to him that, "I don't have any free time to talk nonsense with you here, so that's why you should leave from here quickly." Lin says, "Brother, you are a level 5 light, and along with that you have golden equipment, also because of which no new person can compete with you, right? So go quickly and teach him a lesson that too in my place." And after hearing this, King says that, "You were very lucky last time that I spared your life that time, but this time your time ends here." Now after hearing this, Sir says that, "So if you want to kill me here, then come," and this much on hearing this, the king immediately attacks Sura with his golden sword, and then he says, "Let's see who is more brutal between us, your sword or mine." Sura says as he attacks Sura, we see that Sura does not move even a bit, and he directly takes the attack on his shoulder. Seeing this, the king is very surprised and says, "How can this happen?" But seeing the same, Lino, who is on the side, is also very surprised and says, "That man is an unarmed beast tamer, then how can brother not beat him?" But on hearing this, Sura immediately takes out the sword from his body and says, "Is it done for you so soon? Then it's okay, now it's my turn." Saying this, Sura again uses his staff and attacks him in a very brutal manner. A powerful attack is prepared there, and seeing this, the king gets scared and his condition worsens, and he says, "Wait a minute, I am the president of the Supreme Guild and the eldest son of the Lu family and the richest man in the whole line. So if you take this shot at me, then you are fine." But while he is saying this, the Sura immediately attacks the king with his fireball, and with that one strike, we see that the king is finished there, and he says, "Damn it, just with one strike." But after saying this, his whole body disappears from there. But in the meantime, he has a system, and he has to say that the other party is graded out right now. So if you kill the graded out professional here, that too within 10 minutes, then you will not get 100 sun points, and seeing this, he is going away and saying, "Fool." But while saying this, the system starts explaining again that in the other world, when a professional attacks another professional, and at that time, if the other victim is not able to resist himself or is not able to stop his attack, then at that time if you kill that victim, Then in return you get 100 sin points. Then in such a case, if you go to an alternate world where killing forbidden is there, then you will not be able to enter the safe zone there, and after that you will not be able to exit that world either. But only until you kill a lot of monsters there and finish all your sin points, otherwise you will have to wait for your own death there. Along with listening to Anna, the Asura is speaking while picking up all the equipment of the king from there whenever a player is killed here. Then not only his X-Pass points are reduced, but all his equipments and weapons are dropped here. On the other hand, we see Lennon, whose condition has worsened due to fear. You are saying that did he kill the king here with just one shot? But when did he become so powerful? Adnai thinks and says in fear, "What are you going to do with me now?" Adna says that Dawasi is thinking in her mind that what should I do here now because my resurrection is stopped. I can use it only twice in a day and I have already used it once to escape from that dungeon. So if I use it now to escape from here, then I will not be able to use it again later. While thinking this, Anna consoles Asura and says, "My love, do you know that ever since I got separated from you, I was just thinking about you?" But after listening to her, Asura ignores her just like a Sigma male and starts to leave from there. While leaving, he thinks that this lion did not attack me, so if I attack her, it will have a huge impact on my mission, and on top of that, I do not want to waste my time at all. And that too on these useless people. He immediately takes the girl and leaves from there. But the lane on the other side is very dangerous. She is saying in anger that if he ignored me like this and went away, then it is okay. You remember Young Joy? I will definitely take revenge from you. But immediately after that we see that Asura completes his mission by taking the girl to her house, and then with the completion of the mission he gets a lot of reward points and 20 silver coins. But on top of that he gets a magical ice staff, a tiny ice and a pet egg. And then after seeing all this, Asura immediately takes out that magic ice staff, and then with taking out that staff, he immediately uses his ability points to make that ice staff reach the maximum level. And then after that he says that the higher the grade of any equipment, the more ability points are needed to refine that weapon. But the sugar is that that amount is not enough for me. There is no issue. Oh yes, I also got a pet egg. That too in that reward. Asura says while looking at that egg, he says, "It looks like a normal grade egg to me." He says while checking in his system, "What is this? I got a lot of pet eggs, that too while farming these monsters. So, okay, I will use all these eggs, that too for my armored scorpion to eat." He says he feeds all those eggs to his scorpion, and then along with feeding them, his armored scorpion changes from a normal grade to an elite level silver armored scorpion, and due to this, its power increases a lot in one go. Then, after seeing it, Asura also says happily, "This is very good. Now I have a 2-star grade equipment. And with that there is a silver armored scorpion, and with that I have got golden equipment from that king. With the help of all this, I will be able to challenge the boss of this world very easily. But before that I have to go back and buy some supplies, that too of some materials," Asura says. So he immediately comes out of that realm, and as soon as he comes out, he gets a call from the hospital, and then the doctor is telling him that Mr. Jangjia, this is the last reminder for you that your young brother's fee is still pending to be paid. So if you do not pay it soon, then this hospital will delay your brother's operation a bit. And on hearing this, Asura says to him, "Quickly send me the hospital's payment card number. I am sending the payment within 1 minute." As soon as he says you come, Asura looks at it in his system. He is saying that now it is not a big deal for me. I will immediately sell some golden equipment here, and then I will immediately earn some millions from it, and I will help the original owner of this body. That too to save his brother, so that all his accounts with me will be settled. But as Asura tries to sell those equipments there, a warning comes in his system that you cannot sell these equipments because they have got attached to you. And the reason for seeing that is Asura rotting his mouth. He is saying that maybe because I have increased 1,000 folds, that is why this problem is coming in it. And this is the only thing which is a loophole, that too inside the system. But without the ability to trade my equipments, I have only $1,000 right now. But if I sell all the silver coins, then I will have only $1,000. Even if I sell it here, nothing more will happen than that. Then I will have to quickly find some other way to earn money. And saying this, the Asura starts checking the offer list in his phone, and then he says that these people are paying a very low amount for boosting for an hour. But after saying this, his eyes go to some other mission, in which some people are hiring a hunter in Lihan City. Now in return he will get full 3 lakhs, and after seeing that, the Asura immediately calls me, and he says deadly. About this is very interesting, so here our chapter ends today. So what will happen next? Will Asura go and join that dangerous mission, or the king is doing all this intentionally to take revenge like Asura? He calls someone and says deadly bounty. This is very interesting. Come. As soon as he says this, he immediately calls and says, "What is the specific demand? That too for that $3 lakh which you had posted in your form. That too for boosting mission." Hearing this, the girl says, "First of all, you will have to assist a new hunter from your batch, and secondly, you will have to help a man. That too to clear the first world." Now hearing this, the person who gets angry smiles and says, "Yes, this much will be fine for me, and whether it is the first world or the second world. But in return for doing all this, I will take full 3 nines as in Zinzer." Now hearing this, the girl replies. She says, "I will give you full lakhs as soon as this task is completed. Then tell me when we are going to start." Now that girl will meet you in the respawn area within 10 minutes. She will also come to Doomsday Village. Hearing this, we see that Asura immediately reaches that respawn point, and after reaching there, the man in money is thinking that I'm going to get full $4 lakh. That too by carrying a girl, and on top of that I was going to clear the first world anyway, and this is a very good deal for me in which I will get guaranteed profit, and there is not much risk involved in this work. While thinking this, Asura sees that girl there, and then after seeing her, Asura asks her, "Are you the same person who killed her?" That he had hired a booster but friends. We see that the rest of the hunters are talking to each other. Is this the same Calamity maze? Now hearing that, the other one says, "Yes, this is the same one, and she always wears such a dress. So for that reason I can tell after seeing her only once." And that weak V-stemmer beside him. Did he accept his task? Yes. Now hearing that, the other hunter says, "Yes, all the hunters of today don't even think about their lives for some money." But we see that the Asura and that girl ignore them completely after listening to them. And then the Asura says to the girl, "Let's go first." People form a party. "After that I will help you." He also tells them to come to complete the mission of this world. As soon as he sends a request to join the party, the system of Asura is telling him that the hunter has kept his ID hidden, but he has joined your team now. As soon as Asura sees this, he immediately goes from there with that girl and tells her that to clear this first world, first you have to complete 2 prestigious missions here, out of which first of all you have to kill 1,000 monsters, and then after killing them you have to earn coins, and you must already know about this thing, right? Now hearing this, the girl replies, "Yes, yes I know." Now immediately after this, Jasu immediately uses his power. He uses it to tell the girl that all the hunters in the other world cannot deal damage to any monster if the level of that monster is 5 or more than that of the hunter. We will not be able to kill any monster even if it has only 1 HP left. That is why it will be a very point to do it for us. Then first of all I will help you, that too for your level up, that too while completing this mission. As soon as the soul speaks, he immediately takes out his ice magic staff and immediately starts freezing all the scorpion monsters present there by using its power, and then after that he starts thinking, well, whatever spell damage I got as part of a mission, earlier it was not that high, that too like my fireball. But now it is not so bad that I am using it in a supportive way, that too to control the crowd. At the same time, Jasra says to the girl, "What are you thinking standing there? Come here quickly and finish him off." On hearing this, the girl immediately comes there and uses her magic to kill the scorpion immediately. And then after killing it, we see that his level also goes up, and the girl is surprised to see that what is this? My level has increased 3 times in one go. But while she is standing and thinking all this, suddenly a scorpion attacks her from behind, and Jaso is seeing this and shouts at her and tells her to look behind. He immediately jumps and saves the girl from the scorpion's attack, and then immediately after that he kills the scorpion by using his fireball. He ends his life there, and after seeing all this we see that the girl is also very surprised, but the Asura in the room says to her that now let's go quickly. It is time to go to another area and level up there. Scene changes and both of them start going inside the jungle, and then going there Jasra asks the girl that how are you able to afford that too for me 4 lakhs? Yes, come. After hearing that, the girl points with her finger and tells Asura that 21 draws 8. Now seeing that Asura says what 21, but all the people become hunters at the age of 18, so it must have been 3 years since you came in this world, but despite all that, why is your level still so low? But on hearing this, the girl immediately stops there, and seeing Asura, he says, "What happened to you? Why did you stop coming?" On hearing this, the girl immediately reveals it to herself, and then after that she says to Asura, "Thank you for getting my leveling up here, but now you can go from here, and I will give you full $100 right now. That too is compensation." but please do not tell anything about this to my sister." Now hearing this, Asura says, "I thought you were dumb, but don't worry. I will help you to clear this first world because I have promised your sister earlier." Now hearing this, the girl says, she is speaking nervously, and she says, "I dare you not hear what all the people they were talking about. And I am an embodiment, that too of a climate. I am a genius. So because of that, if you stay with me for a long time, then you will also get into a very big problem." Now, hearing that, Asura replies, it knows very well what an embodiment is, that too of a calamity. And hearing that, the girl is shouting and saying that she always harms the other person in a calamity. And while they are talking about all this, you see a group of hunters come to their side. Then one of them is saying, "It's the people of the firm have claimed that whoever takes her on a mission, he will get a very painful death, but on the other side of that it has been heard that whoever kills him here will get a lot of experience points and ability points as well." Hearing this, all his friends are very excited and say, "Okay, brother, today we will take revenge and also do justice for the attack on heavens." Hearing this, the girl is very scared and says to Asura that all of them are 4 or 5 levels higher than us. So because of that, we are not a match for these people and all of them are after me. So because of that, you should leave from here immediately. But after hearing this, Asura immediately says from inside his body that he is very powerful. And while taking them out, he is saying to them that you guys want to touch my $4 lakh here. But have I allowed you to do this? But after hearing this, we see that King also comes there with all his friends, and then looking at them, he is saying, "Wow, team fight." This is very interesting, and seeing King there. All the previous hunters also get scared, and then they start talking among themselves. "Isn't this young Master Lu King who comes from the richest family of Lanai City? Then we are no match at all in front of him, and these people have come here to kill and steal." Now hearing this, his companion says, "Stop talking nonsense. You are useless here." And then the hunter goes to King and says, "Oh young Master Lu, I have not come here to give you any trouble. Rather I have come here to end this ban." But on hearing this, the king tells him to shut up, and then after saying this, he immediately goes to Asura and starts talking to him. "Okay, so this is you. Maybe it was written in our fate that we both will meet." Hearing this, Asura makes fun of him and says, "What are you doing here? Is it not that you have come here to give me a gift, and if my memory is correct, then you cannot use your resurrection scroll again for 7 days." On hearing this, the king tells all his companions that all my companions should finish him off here immediately. But on hearing this, Asura is not scared at all, and on seeing the same, the king is also surprised and thinks, "Why is he giving such a reaction to me?" But as soon as he says this, we see that all his companions take out their weapons to attack Asura, but in the same way, they are not able to do anything. As soon as King looks at his companions, he is surprised and says, "What the heck is this? Why are you saying so much?" He immediately goes and starts hitting his companions and says, "Did you people not understand my instructions at all? And I did not go up to them and tell you guys to attack." Hearing this, he says, Okay, Master, we have understood. We have understood." With the soul saying this, we see and all of them surround Asura from all sides. Seeing that, Asura also gets ready to fight with them. But all those people are there, taking out gifts in their hands and telling Asura, "Please consider this now." Seeing all this, Suan is also very surprised and says, "What is going on here?" And on the other side also we see Lin, who is very much excited, and then she says, "Brother Yao, what is your intention of doing all this here?" Now after hearing what the king says, "Shut up now," he immediately goes and hiding behind his companions tells Asura, "I can understand that you are not scared at all that 2 of my force, and on top of that, I also do not want to use my force against you, because it will not make any sense, and here I have chosen my special men to choose very rare treasures for you. So if you join my guild and work for me, then all these rewards will be yours, and on top of that, I will also pay you salary that 2 every month, and that 2 on hearing that the salary of 5 zenzen per month is 5 zenzen." Suan also regains her senses and says that $50,000 is too much. But on the other hand, the one who is leaning is also saying to Asura, "And Angie, for a poor man like you, the terms that Brother Yao is offering you are too much. And this is something that you will not be able to achieve even after working hard for 10 years. Then according to my opinion, you should also join Brother that guild, and that is for your good only." And while the soul is speaking, it is thinking in its mind that maybe Brother deliberately wants him to join our guild, because after that, as soon as he joins our guild, I will teach him a very good lesson. He can kill 2 people with 1 arrow. But after listening to all this, Asura replies to her that I should just try to admire those people, and then maybe after that I will think about your offer. But after listening to this, we see that Lin gets even more angry, and then she says, "Are you crazy? You will get full 1,000 and you cannot earn this much money even in a whole year. And what right does a poor person like you have to reject such a good offer from your brother?" And after listening to her, Asura replies that the birds always roam freely in the sky, and you want me to give up being a human being here, and then become a dog that too just like you. And after listening to Asura, we see Lin saying this, and he also gets very angry, but Asura immediately leaves from there and says that if all of you are not going to fight with me here, then quickly move away from me. Hearing this, Lin says to herself that are we not going to fight with him right now, but hearing that, the king replies, "No, let these people go from here." Now, hearing that, the Lane is shouting, "Brother, will you let him go from here like this? And he was insulting us here." But after hearing this, the king is also very angry and says to him, "I don't know you understand what I said yet? And have you gone deaf? I just said that let him go from here." On hearing this, the Lane also says in fear, and she says, "Yes, okay, come." On hearing this, the Asura takes the ghost and leaves from there, and then he is saying to the Asura partner, "Brother, are you being so general now? And you are letting him go from here right now. And this same guy had threatened you at that time. I had killed him, and he was still being so arrogant in front of us. So should I go and finish him off right here?" But on hearing this, the king gives a very powerful punch to his partner's face, and then he says to him, "What do you know about him? Come here." And immediately after that he says happily, "As it is said, the thing which is out of your reach is that much better, and on the other hand, the things which you get very easily are not that valuable." And on hearing this, the person who is lying immediately hugs him and says, "Brother, you were earlier trying to kill him in a very bad way. But when did you suddenly change your mind and you thought about it?" He did not tell me. Now after hearing that, the king replies that this happened when he killed me for the first time. But at that time he was constantly telling me that he belongs to a very poor family and he can never afford any golden equipment. Then tell me this. Then tell me, how can a simple master tamer deal so much damage? Then he is definitely hiding something which we are not able to see with our eyes right now. That is why I will have to buy him in my guild by any means, and then after that I will make him work that too for my guild. But after hearing all this, Jelena is very angry and thinking in her mind, "What did he say? We are not able to see with our eyes, but there is no one here who can tell him more than me. You must know it well, but you just wait. I will definitely bring you to your knees, and then after that I will make you apologize." The soul speaks. The scene changes and we are shown Asura again, where we see that Sujin is saying to Asura, "Thank you for protecting me at that time." Hearing that, Asura replies, "Don't be fooled at all. If you would have died there, then who would have given me $40,000? After hearing this, Suyan says, "Why don't we quit right here, because you won't be able to complete this mission right now." Hearing that, Asura says, "Then why did you write so much bunty in the form when you don't have even a little bit of confidence, and on top of that you are if you could have let the monsters stand there and stay, then why did you join this outer world?" Now hearing that, Suyan says, "You don't know, I had already given up long ago, and that too on everyone, but all this is just because of my sister, as I had told you earlier that I am a vessel, and that too of a disaster, so now you see it yourself, Anna." Saying this, she starts revealing her status and showing it to Asura, where we see that Suyan cannot kill any monster alone, so due to that reason she will have to stay in a team and kill the monsters to up her level. But if any one of them gets killed, then the other one's level will also become 0, and to disband their party they will have to first kill this first world. But on the other hand, whoever comes here and finishes Suyan will get many good rewards, and the reason for seeing all this is that he is also surprised and says that keeping aside a special class and a core class, we also have a special class, so if by any means they are able to overcome their limitation, then they will not just awaken their high class, they will directly awaken in the mythology class. But unfortunately, this is something that you will never be able to overcome, and then you will keep traveling forever trapped in this circle. You are Udam Suyan and very disappointed. She says that 3 years ago when this class of mine was awakened. Since then I must have tried for it at least 100 times, but I have always failed. It's done, and there is no point in mentioning how this setting works, and you can't even form a team with a level difference of 10. Then how can you think that with a level of 10 max, you will be able to defeat a first level boss, and then because of that you are not in the top position here? Leave me and go away." But on hearing her words, Sir says, "What will happen if I say that all this is possible? Now I can take you out of this first world." On hearing this, Suvan gets very surprised and immediately comes to Asura and says, "Is what you just said true? I have been dreaming for 3 years that too of breaking that curse, and since last 9 years all the people who see me, they all insult me, and I have made my name among them. So then are you saying that this is my chance now? On hearing that, Jasus wakes up and says, we have talked enough here, and now it is time for us to get out of this world. After that, we see in the first world, adventurers needed to complete tasks before challenging the world's boss. The first task was to slay 1,000 monsters, and the second was to collect 10 silver coins. Both missions were completed in just a few hours. As the lifeless monsters lay scattered, Suan began to wonder about the true strength of Zero. However, Zero interrupted her thoughts. He informed Suan that the tasks were done and it was time to face the boss. Suan, visibly anxious, tried to assure Zero she was fine with taking on the challenge. But Zero, with his sharp observational skills, noticed her unease and asked about it. Suan then shared her confusion, questioning why someone as strong as Zero would risk such a dangerous mission. Without hesitation, Zero explained it was because of financial struggles in the real world. Realizing he had revealed too much, Zero turned away, embarrassed. Suan, with her usual innocence, comforted him, saying there was no shame in being honest about his situation. A notification window suddenly popped up, asking if they were ready to challenge the world boss. Both of them braced themselves. Zero tapped the yes button, and a thunderous sound echoed through the sky. A glowing portal opened in front of them, connecting the village to the boss field, known as the Demonic Abyss. The Demonic Abyss resembled a vast dungeon, with a massive floating sand clock overhead. Red notifications flashed before them, announcing that their boss challenge would last for 1 hour. During this time, they had to defeat the raging Wild Boar King, the boss of the First World. Failure to vanquish it in time or being defeated meant they would need to redo the world missions before attempting the boss again. Zero, always prepared, tossed some resurrection scrolls and recovery potions to Suan. She was astonished that Zero had such expensive items, but he calmly explained that death in another world was unpredictable, so it was better to be safe. He began putting on his defensive gear and even equipped his silver-armored scorpion for extra defense. The massive pet materialized behind Zero, ready to withstand the Boar King's attacks. Suan, impressed by everything, noticed Zero signaling her and the scorpion that the Wild Boar King was approaching. The boss, a massive creature with 2 large horns and a glowing red aura, stormed toward them. Zero quickly drew his frost scepter, preparing to fight. This king was a 2-star level 10 boss, with high physical and magical defenses and a brutal set of skills. It was Suan's first time facing such a foe, and she trembled as she tried to convince herself that they would win. She recalled how a team of dozens had once failed to defeat the same boss. Now, it was just her and Zero. Sensing Suan's fear, Zero turned and told her to stay behind the scorpion and wait to deliver the final blow. Suan, still worried for him, urged him to be careful. Zero simply smiled and said, "Don't worry, just cleaning up a little pig." The battle was about to begin. Then suddenly, the Wild Boar King charged at Zero, surrounded by a flaming aura. Zay quickly used his super fireball attack, dealing 325 damage to the creature. However, when the dust and debris settled, Zero realized that the Boar King didn't even have a scratch. Instead of getting nervous, Zero smiled. He knew a boss-level monster would be tough from the start. The ugly monster roared at Zero, but just as it attacked, Zero's scorpion pet jumped in to defend them. Zero dodged the attack and maintained his distance, using the Frost Scepter to deal icy damage to the Wild Boar King. He noticed that, despite the Boar King's thick skin, the scorpion pet's silver armor held strong. But then, the Boar King caught the scorpion by surprise, sending it flying and wounding it badly. As the Boar King prepared for a destructive stomp, Suan screamed at Zero to move out of the way. But Zero stood his ground, waiting for his moment. Engulfed in ice shards, he unleashed the Super Ice Pick attack, dealing 325 damage and an extra 50 damage every second from the frost. Suan knew that the Boar King's status resistance would reduce the frost's effect quickly, though. Suddenly, the Boar King raged, surrounded by a crimson aura. Suan realized it was now in a dangerous, enraged state. From what she had heard, an enraged Boar King could use a deadly stomp skill, even fatal for high-level players. Just as it was about to stomp, the armored scorpion pet reappeared, clamping the monster to the ground. It was taking damage itself but held on with all its might. Zero, determined not to lose his 400,000 coins, ordered Suan to heal the scorpion. She immediately used her staff to restore its health, but even fully healed, the scorpion struggled under the Boar King's powerful attacks. Zero eyes locked onto the monster as he prepared a mixed attack of fire and ice. As the spell multiplied in size, he smiled and told Suan that a few seconds were all he needed. Finally, Zero unleashed the dance of fire and ice, a devastating attack combining both elements. Even a level 10 2-star monster couldn't withstand the power. The wild boar king screamed in pain as it was trapped in ice and burned by fierce flames. Zero saw his chance to finish it off and engulfed himself in flames, using his rapid fireball attack for the final blow. The wild boar king collapsed, lifeless. Zero smiled as a faint blue aura surrounded him. A system notification congratulated him for taking down a 2-star boss, rewarding him with 6,000 experience points, 1,000 watts of energy, and several valuable items, including 12 silver coins, meat pieces, a berserk skill book, and a cloth of berserker. He decided to keep the items for his scorpion pet instead of selling them. Meanwhile, Suan was engulfed in a purple aura, and the system congratulated her for breaking the class restrictions of the Vessel of Calamity. She had now evolved into a taboo sorcerer, an epic level class. Overcome with emotion, she started crying, wondering if it was all a dream. Their celebration was interrupted by a worldwide notification announcing that Zero and Suan had cleared the first world of Demon Source. The gaming community was stunned. Very few players had cleared the world, and no one had done it in just half a day. People couldn't believe that Suan, known for having no combat abilities, had accomplished this. Back in the game boss space, 2 portals appeared, one red, leading to the second world, and one blue, allowing Zero to return home. Curious about the second world, the fortress besieged by undead, Zero was tempted to enter. But he had more pressing matters lie his brother and his medical bills. He headed for the blue portal, telling Suan he needed to collect the money he was owed. In the real world, at Lin High City Fan Building, a secretary informed a lady of a call from Zero. He told her the job was done and asked for his payment. However, the lady hesitated, not believing anyone could clear the first world so quickly. She thought Zero might be a fraud. Just then, Suan appeared, smiling brightly, and told her sister that she had evolved into an epic core class. The lady was stunned. No one in the fan family had ever reached epic class status. When Suan revealed that only one person had helped her, the lady was even more shocked. She asked if it was Zero, the hot topic in the gaming community, and Suan confirmed it. As the lady looked at her phone, she saw discussions about Zero everywhere. A wicked grin spread across her face. She realized that Zero and Suan had not only shattered records, but also advanced to the second world. She knew this was a golden opportunity to secure Zero for their Misty Pavilion, and ensure they could clear the second world before anyone else. Though in my opinion, the lady should have settled up with Zero for his work before plotting to ensnare him in her schemes.
The lady showed her true colors and told everyone that they are going to hold an executive meeting right now because they will have to buy Zero out for their Misty Pavilion by any means necessary in order to clear the second world before anyone else. It is my opinion, but maybe the lady should first prefer paying our boy for the work he did for her sister before trying to trap him into these schemes. The next day started with a phone call from the hospital, and the receptionist told Zero that they have received their payment, so now he can let the hospital know if he wanted anything in the future. Our boy realized that the lady has kept her word on paying him. He told the person that all they had to do was to heal his brother, because Zero was ready to do anything for the brother of Zhang as thanks for lending his body to him. But suddenly, the hospital staff reminded Zero that his brother's condition was more severe than they expected, so now he may have to remain in the hospital for further observation for the next few months, and the fee should be around 40 to 50,000 per month. Listening to the exorbitant medical costs, Zero realized that if he knew this was the case beforehand, he would have accepted the offer of the wallet bleeding bastard Yao. But as soon as he cut the call, his phone started ringing once again. Zero was surprised, and on the other side of the phone, it was Suyan's big sister who asked our boy if he was interested in joining the Misty Pavilion Guild. We come to know that the sister was the vice guild master named Su Jin. She told Zero that all his insurances were covered and his base salary was starting at 30,000 a month, in addition to any bonuses that our boy will achieve. Zero smiled as he realized that this was really great timing. First of all, he told the lady that he would definitely join the guild, but as soon as both the sisters started celebrating, Zero interrupted by telling them that he had a condition. Now comes the fun part. Zero told the lady that they could request him for anything or make him participate in major events, but the guild was not to interfere with Zero's personal freedom at any cost. Hearing this, both sisters were really shocked, respect, while one of the board members of the guild was not happy with this sort of demand by our boy. Joining a guild was to provide oneself for the guild's cause, and if everyone decides to act on their own freedom, then the purpose of the whole guild is defeated. But our boy was listening to everything and told the lady that if this was their demand, then the deal was off. The call was cut immediately and everyone started looking at the blabbering man, but he was not going to stop. He again told everyone that it was really rude hanging up like that, and if they had someone with no respect for the guild, it would really be a problem. Suddenly, the camera pans towards Suan, who was the CEO of Su Foundation. He wanted to know if the lady really wanted to have this man for her, no matter the cost. The lady started explaining with a serious look that Zero was the class shifter who managed to shatter their 100 years record by defeating the boss of the first world and cleared it in less than a day. According to her, our boy was a once-in-a-century prodigy, so they must use any chance they get to secure him. Even when the guild master tried to counter, Su Yan immediately stood up, telling her uncle that Zero was really something else entirely. The elder sister started speaking once again, proposing to everyone that first they should let Zero join the guild, and then negotiate from the moment he joins. According to Su Yan, even when our boy wanted freedom, he was ready to participate in any activities of the guild, so he was not completely on his own. The chairman thought a little and agreed to the sisters, but if Zero denied all authority, then they would have no other choice. As the scene shifts, we see that our boy was getting the call from the guild once again. While he smiled, thinking that the Su Foundation was ranked 5th among the grades of the kingdom, it should still be enough by their monthly pay and bonuses to cover the medical bills of his brother. Finally, he picked up the call once again, and the sister told our boy that they were ready to agree to his terms. She wanted to know about the time Zero would be available to report to them in the office, but Zero put another condition, telling the lady that he always preferred to work from home rather than the office. Since they were both in the same place, the time zone should not be an issue. Zero was trying to exploit the guild in any way he could, and even when the sisters acted surprised, Zero told them that if they cannot do it, then the deal is off. But before our boy could even hang up the phone, the lady immediately told him that they could go with it. Happy with all the negotiations, Zero finally thought that he would not have to worry about his income for now, and it was really the time for him to make progress with the second level of the alternate world. As the scene shifts, we come to the blue portal where a system notification asked Zero about the world he wanted to enter. Zero selected the second world, a fortress besieged by undead, and a red portal started engulfing our boy. He smiled while he decided to proceed and got inside the portal. As he came out to the second world, he got welcomed by a system notification. He was told that he was in the safe zone named Norden Down. This world was at the end of times, and the humans were encroaching into darkness as it was mutating them. The humans who were left with some sanity were defending themselves from the zombies, and our boy must cooperate with other survivors, because once the fortress is breached, there is nowhere to run. This world also had 2 world quests, which included getting the pass of the secret realm and participating in and succeeding in repelling 3 waves of zombies. After completing these 2 quests, Zero can challenge the second world boss and enter the third world. Zero knew that the level requirement for the secret realm was at least level 15, so he needed some levels before he could even think about doing the first quest. As for the second one, he would just have to wait for the waves. Suddenly he heard someone shouting, and as he turned around, he saw a man in shiny armor named Captain Norris telling everyone that the next wave would be arriving soon. The captain was worried because they did not have enough weapons in stock to supply to the soldiers for dealing with the zombie wave right now. As this world was a little more difficult than the first one, Zero knew that this safe zone periodically gets attacked by zombies, and it keeps things always tense. The captain immediately greeted Zero, telling him that a battle was going to break out at any time. So the captain NPC needed Zero to head to the west of Norden and gather materials so that they can forge and maintain their weapons. From his previous life, Zero knew that there were a total of 10 quests available at Norden, and this one given by the captain NPC was the hardest and most time-consuming of them all. Our boy looked at the notification, which told him that he would have to gather 100 fire and ice cores along with 1 poison core. In return, he would get 100,000 experience points, 50 silver coins, 9,000 energy, 2 pieces of random 2-star equipment, and a skill book or pet egg. Zero started smiling because even though it was the hardest, this mission was the most rewarding of them all. By completing the whole quest, Zero might be able to do all the quests of the entire world. Finally, Zero agreed to the captain, telling him to leave everything to him. The scene shifts to Norden's outskirts in the west, a former military supply base. Multiple zombies were growling all over the place while they erupted multiple fires at the warehouses. But we see that our boy was ready with his frost scepter and the scorpion pet. He started using the super fireball attack, dealing 266 damage to one zombie, along with 50 frostbite damage. The zombies started roaring and multiple zombies were attracted to our boy. But as they started running, the scorpion pet roared and attacked these mindless creatures with all its might. Zero realized that even with the fire, some zombies were not getting damaged because of their fire resistance. So, he decided to use something else entirely. He smiled devilishly, wondering how long the zombies would last. Zero ordered his silver-armored scorpion pet to take on the fire zombie. The creature roared as it grabbed both the zombie's hands with its huge pincers and made those hands hit the subscribe button and leave a like, as it supported the channel a lot. The scorpion pet was roaring continuously while Zero thought that with multiple rank protective skills and all sorts of protective gear, an elite monster could not be taken out by the fire zombies no matter what. But suddenly, our boy felt really unsettled as he saw that the scorpion pet was enjoying breaking the bones of the already dead zombie. He still decided to continue on and immediately readied his frost scepter for another attack. He decided to counter the fire zombie with his frost scepter skill, and a blue aura started surrounding the zombie all over. Suddenly, multiple shards of ice pierced through the already broken ribs of the zombie as it groaned in pain and agony. Finally, Zero defeated a level 11 fire zombie, getting 50 experience points along with 110,000 energy. But our boy was still sad, because he got just one measly bronze coin after defeating such a hard monster. He realized that the drop rate for these zombies was not good, but as he had a quest to do, he decided to kill all the zombies anyway. And so, the killing spree of our legendary Zero started. He gained multiple gold coins along with some experience points and materials as he leveled up to level 11. But after the massacre was over, all he had was just 50 fire cores. It was still a long shot when it came to completing the quest, especially with this trashy drop rate. Besides, Zero was now getting hungry because no matter what happens, he was still human. He decided to just log out and find something to eat for now, and then he would pick up where he left off that night. But before he could log out, Zero suddenly heard a loud roar of an epic level monster. He turned around, thinking that something must be going on. There was a really big surprise waiting for our boy, as he saw that a huge portal started cracking through the dimension of the world. Zero realized that this was the respawn timer for Lord Monsters, which generated multiple high-level monsters for people to farm. Out of the portal, a large ogre-like being came out while roaring loudly. It was a level 14 flaming ice zombie sovereign, a really valuable Lord Monster who could drop really good equipment or a high-grade skill book. As Zero saw the large monster standing in front of him, his eyes started gleaming. Even the monster was surprised that the human in front of him was smiling with greed instead of being fearful of him. Zero immediately materialized his frost scepter and was ready to attack the zombie. Looking at that, even the Lord Monster started roaring with all its might. Before Zero could do anything, the Lord Monster started attacking. Each and every punch of the monster was making multiple ice shards protrude from the ground, which heavily damaged our boy. But just then, the Lord Monster used another one of its skills named Icicle Spike, and multiple spikes made of ice started going towards Zero at insane speeds. It was so fast that even our boy was not able to dodge them, and he took 352 damage from just this one attack. Knowing that normal attacks would not work, Zero started summoning his super fireball and threw it at the creature. But to his surprise, the monster was just damaged by a measly 168 points. Even with the frost attacks, the damage was just 150, which was even lower. Zero was now in a pinch, not able to understand what he should do because the opponent in front of him was a dual elemental zombie of fire and ice, and he did not have a counter for both of them. Zero was not able to maximize his output in any way. It was as if this Lord Monster was the natural counter for our boy. Really desperate and not able to understand what he should do, Zero immediately told the silver-armored scorpion to go and fight with the Lord Monster. But it was of no use, because the zombie just gave a punch to the scorpion pet, and everything was over. The scorpion pet took a large amount of damage, but the fire zombie was not ready to stop. He mercilessly used multiple icicle spikes spikes once again. With this attack, even the unbreakable armor that Zero thought was indestructible was now pierced and broken into pieces. Multiple notifications popped up, telling Zero that his silver-armored scorpion pet had perished in battle, and now he would have to wait for 3 hours to summon the pet once again. Zero was penalized with a level loss and -10 loyalty for the pet, but due to the effects of the Necromancer, only 1 hour of wait was required, and all other penalties were negated. Even so, 1 hour was a huge amount of time, and until then, Zero could not think of what he should do. Unknowingly, Zero had taken a fight with a monster who was on a whole other level compared to the Lord monsters of the first world. It was as if the Lord of the game heard the cries of our boy, and a purple thunder came crashing down onto the fire monster, dealing 138 damage to the creature and stunning it for a brief moment. We see that it was Suan who came to protect our boy in a really pretty dress. As I said before, the lady is really waifu material. Because Zero couldn't remember the lady's name, he called her the paycheck lady, and Suan told our boy that she would help with crowd control, so he should keep doing his thing. Finally, our boy was relieved, knowing that he was supported from the back. Knowing that he could be protected, Zero started using multiple frost and fire attacks in unison, slowly chipping away the health of the Lord Monster bit by bit. At first, the Lord Monster was really laughing as the attacks were barely damaging him, but multiply these measly attacks a few times over, and this was a considerable amount of damage. The monster realized that he was in a really bad situation, but suddenly Zero summoned a super fireball and sent it toward the Lord Monster. He immediately turned towards the lady, asking her if she could do another lightning attack along with the fireball. Hearing that, Suan immediately grabbed her staff and used the Ray of Light skill. As soon as this happened, a really dangerous thunderbolt came crashing down onto the Lord Monster, making the creature stunned for a brief moment once again. Even Zero was surprised by the seamless and elegant strikes of the lady, realizing that this was the real power of the taboo sorcerer class. Zero was beaming with a flaming ice aura, while he used both his super fireball attack and his frost pick, which threw multiple ice shards along with a flame of high heat towards the zombie. The creature screamed in pain and agony, but this was not over. Even Suan used her magic staff to immediately increase the damage dealt by our boy. Finally, the system congratulated them for taking down the flaming ice zombie sovereign together. The couple had worked hard for 3,000 experience points, along with 4.2 million alternate energy points. Zero smiled while looking at that, turning around and thanking the 400 grand lady for taking on these zombies along with him. He wanted to split the rewards 50/50, but Suan immediately waved her hand in dismissal, telling Zero that it was fine because she just got there herself to take on a quest, ran into Zero while going there, and not to mention, she hadn't even properly thanked our boy for getting her this far. But Zero, ever the logical one, told Suan that her sister had already settled all her bills for her. According to Suan, everything her sister did was on her, not on Suan herself. She immediately put her hand into the air, introducing herself as Sujinyan, and asked Zero about who he was. Thinking for a moment, our boy turned around, reciprocating with a handshake, and told the lady that he was Jung. The lady suggested that since they were in the same guild and had both taken on a collection quest, they should team up. By doing that, it would be a lot smoother with more hands. Hearing that, Zero asked about the lady's class effects. It was as if Suan became a child, telling Zero that all her crowd control skills were upgraded into taboos, and their effects would last 30% longer, along with all her skills receiving a 30% cooldown reduction. Zero smiled as he was hearing everything, thinking that with these kinds of skills and crowd control maneuvers, it would certainly make his grind a lot easier if the girl was with him. Suddenly, our boy turned around and started going somewhere, but Suan asked him where he was going. Zero explained that they could regroup in 10 minutes, but for now, he was going to Norden. As our boy was going away, Suan was mesmerized by looking at his sexy back muscles with her X-ray vision. Suddenly, out of nowhere, she remembered that she promised herself to marry whoever managed to break the curse of her. But what would she do if the curse breaker were a female and not a male? She immediately dismissed this thought, thinking that it was way too embarrassing to think about such things. Meanwhile, Inside Norden Town, Zero was looking at the loot he had gotten. It included 3 pieces of equipment and a skill book. He decided to sell the 1-star stuff and keep all the rest for himself. He immediately equipped some kind of flashy boots named the Dashing Boots of Ice and Fire. They gave a physical defense of 55 along with magic defense of 50 and agility of 10. These boots gave plus 10 agility every time the user's attack landed, and this effect lasted for 5 seconds and could not be stacked. Zero was happy about getting a straight-up increment of 10 agility, but he needed a more damaging and powerful spell next. So, he immediately used the skill book and started refining an attack, converting it into Super Flaming Bullet, which was an A-rank skill that could summon 3 flaming bullets, dealing 110% of magic as damage. It consumed 72 mana and had a 5-second cooldown after every use. Zero started glowing with a faint yellow aura, while realizing that with his current speed, he would be untouchable if he coupled his new skill with it. Suddenly, a notification popped up in front of him, telling him that Su Yan was inviting him to the Misty Rain Pavilion Guild. Finally, he accepted the proposal while thinking that he should head back, because he had taken care of the equipment and skills for now. Finally, both the lady and Zero met, and they started grinding the zombies one after another using our boy's new Super Flame Bullet, which was doing extensive damage to all the zombies. It was a great fiery massacre, and the lady was looking at everything, thinking that Zero was awesome for taking out zombies in just one hit. Hearing that, Zero smiled, telling the lady that she was not bad either. She had great awareness and control, especially with her timings on the crowd control spells, and certainly her new equipment was helping her too. As soon as the lady heard it, she immediately told our boy that her sister had arranged this equipment for her, saying that it was suitable for Su Yan's class. Zero was now a bit skeptical, realizing that it is really nice to be loaded like that. Suddenly, the lady asked our boy if he had also been hiding some additional effects of his equipment, because with such a high attack, Zero could also have any mythical equipment with him, and maybe he was just hiding it. Hearing that, Zero just smiled as he turned around, telling the lady that it has nothing to do with measly equipment and that he was just a mythical class shifter. But Suan was not ready to accept that, telling our boy that usually the appearance of a mythical class shifter is accompanied by a strange phenomenon, yet there wasn't anything happening in the same year. Added to that, there's been no new record of mythical class shifters this year. Zero smiled while thinking that his class cannot be awakened by normal means. He just told the lady that it was up to her to believe what our boy was saying is true or not. Finally, as they had taken care of the fire and ice cores, all that was left were the poison cores. Both of them decided to finish this quest, and the lady decided that they should get to the poison zombie nest right then. But before they could go any further, an urgent notification popped up from the Misty Rain Pavilion, calling out to everyone to take part in a major activity. The notification told them that they should assemble at the town within 10 minutes, and those who were found absent would be kicked out. Reading the message, Suan immediately realized that it was Chen who was scaring everyone with such an announcement. All of a sudden, Zero turned around and asked the lady about who this Chen guy was because he had such high authority. Suan formed a really arrogant figure in her head, telling Zero that Chen was the guild master of the Lin High City branch of the guild. Since his father and the lady's uncle were sworn brothers, he got his current position without really doing anything. Still, Zero thought that it was a guild activity, so he should head over toward Norden Town. As the scene shifts, we see that a large zombie monster was killing multiple people in just one shot. Many adventurers were flying several meters away, while some others were clashing with one another. We come to know that it was the fight between the Misty Rain Pavilion and Lai Yao's faction. Some people from the Misty Guild told Yao that they had found the boss first, so they should be the ones to finish it off. But Yao started screaming, telling them that they were just a tiny little guild and that he could crush them whenever he wanted. Suddenly, a magic circle appeared in the sky, and multiple flaming bullets rained down towards everyone. As the gold-armored bastard turned around, asking about who dared to get in his way, he immediately realized that this was not something he should have said. He saw that it was none other than our boy Zero, who was coming towards him, asking him about why he was fighting his guild for just a boss. The time rewinds to an hour ago when the monster was rampaging around, and the whole guild was trying to take it down, but it was of no use because all the weapons of the adventurers were useless against him. One of the guild members told the president that without the forbidden mage, it was really hard to hold the boss, and it was not even possible to attack. But the president was not ready to give up, telling the members that Jin would be there on the battlefield soon, so they would have to maintain their formation and try to wear down the monster until then. Suddenly, slender footsteps approached, and everyone saw Suan along with our boy. The guild members immediately recognized the lady as the second daughter of the Su family, the rumored Ice Queen who was very aloof. But they knew that her carrier restrictions had been broken, and now she was quite powerful. They were not able to recognize the person who was right behind her, but they still guessed that he must be the person who helped the lady break the restrictions. But it was still not believable to them, because Zero looked way too ordinary and weak for fighting. Hearing the guild member calling her aloof, Suan immediately blushed, telling Zero not to believe any of them no matter what. Suddenly the president called out to Suan, but his happy face soon turned into a shocked one as he saw that the lady was with some other guy all alone. When he raised the objection, the lady snapped at him, telling him that even when he was the president, he had no right to question her, and she can choose who she wanted to associate with. Seeing that the lady was getting a bit frustrated, the president immediately justified his actions, telling Suan that he was just worried about her, and what if someone really had the motive of getting the lady to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. The lady told the president that it was the responsibility of the people who were enjoying this video to hit the like button and subscribe. Suan informed the president that she could identify right from wrong, and he didn't have to worry about her. Instead, the lady wanted to know the situation on the battlefield. The president informed her that the Corpse City had been reset and the Corpse King boss had appeared. Looking at Zero, Suan immediately told him that the probability of Corpse City resetting was very low, and if they took down the Corpse City boss, the guild's prestige and overall strength would definitely increase by a significant amount. That was all Zero needed to hear. He immediately told the lady that they should go and complete the guild mission, but suddenly the president, jealous of the scene, immediately told our boy that there was no need for him to go. When asked by Zero why, the president told him that as a beast tamer with a low growth rate in all aspects, he was especially hard to develop. He was just on the battlefield to burn the guild's resources without any special care, and probably no money. Even the guild members supported the president, telling him that they should not let any poor man go to the battlefield and drag them down by being weak. Hearing these insults, Zero just smiled at the brats who were not aware of his true powers, but Suan snapped back at them, asking if they even knew who they were talking to. Zero stopped her in her tracks, telling the lady that if the president didn't want him on the battlefield, he would gladly agree. But the lady was not happy. She immediately grabbed Zero by his arm, telling the president that if our boy didn't go to the battlefield, then she would not go either. This intimacy shocked the president to the core. He started justifying his actions by telling the lady that it was all for the sake of the weak man, because he would die without even putting up a proper fight. But as the lady was still angry, the president was ready to let Zero come, but he could only observe and not interfere. Added to that, he must bring his own resurrection scroll if something happened to him. The president had no patience and immediately started pulling the lady with him, telling her that the Corpse King was waiting to be dealt with. But Suan was just worried for our boy, telling him that she would be back soon. Zero was unfazed, thinking that a level 15 Corpse City boss was a bit tough. But when it came to Suan, it was just a matter of time before they could take it down, because they had a large number of men. Even Zero wanted to test out the original strength of the 5th ranked guild in the entire province. The scene shifts back to the present where Zero was standing with his frost scepter in hand while his armor gleamed. Golden Yao was really shocked to see that Zero had joined another guild instead of his own. Even the old digger girl was not happy, screaming at Zero for not joining the Supreme Guild and instead going to some other guild. She immediately started insulting our boy, telling him that his worth was really low even back then. But suddenly, a purple orb of energy emanated from the ground and struck the gold digger like a thunderstrike. We see that it was none other than Su Yan who stopped the lady from blabbering nonsense about her savior. Zero looked at her and just smiled, but suddenly his face turned serious. Yao asked him about how much salary the guild was offering him. The brat was ready to give Zero double or triple of the current salary. Additionally, he was ready to arrange a vice president position for our boy, along with making him the CEO of his guild. Suan snapped snapped in anger, asking Yao how he dared to poach a guild member right in front of the face of a senior officer. But suddenly, Zero started speaking, telling Yao that one must value integrity. Since he had already joined the Pavilion before the Supreme Guild, he would not switch jobs casually during his tenure, but he assured the brat that there was no way to tell what would happen in the future, so all hope was not lost. Yao smiled after hearing this, telling Zero that as long as he wanted, he could come to the Supreme Guild anytime and the offer of the position was still valid. Yao immediately ordered his guild members to retreat. Even when one of his subordinates disagreed with this decision, he started screaming at him, telling him that they had to think of the bigger picture instead of just getting the loot from one monster. And just like that, the whole Supreme Guild retreated. The lady immediately thanked Zero for saving the day once again. But we all forgot one thing: the monster was paused in the background while all this blabbering and flashbacks were going on. Now, as his turn came, he immediately resumed and started roaring once again, slamming onto the ground and damaging all the guild members. He was a tall creature who looked all spiky and spongy with a large group of muscles. Our boy was not even 1/10 the size of the actual monster, but he smiled confidently in front of the incoming beast, telling him that he was ready to challenge any monster who came his way. We come to know that this monster was the Corpse King of the Abyss, a level 15 2-star boss. As Zero dealt a huge amount of damage to the zombie sovereign boss with a super fireball attack, everyone had their mouths open in shock. They could not believe that our boy was just an ordinary beast tamer because the zombie boss was down by 1/3 of his health. Meanwhile, Zero was ready with his frost scepter, signaling Suan to do what she does best. She used her taboo sorcerer magic to deal mental pain and agony to the vile creature. Now it was time for the final blow as Zero raised his hand and dealt a lot of damage with the help of Super Flaming Bullet. After the flames were extinguished, the only thing left was a crispy toast of the once ferocious monster, which was feared by everyone. As his task was finished, Zero turned around and started going away. The system congratulated him for taking down the level 15 zombie boss. Everyone wondered where Zero came from, because even when the zombie boss was weakened, it was not possible to finish the creature off just like that. On top of that, Zero was even able to defend his guild from the rich brat Yao, and his Supreme Guild. Meanwhile, Suan was really happy, thanking our boy for helping them out because without his help, the Supreme Guild would have stolen the boss from them. But Zero was as humble as ever, telling the lady that he was just fulfilling his duty as a guild member. These words worked like a charm, and everyone knew that Zero could become their role model. As the scene shifts to Norden, we see that everyone was following our boy while Suan happily held his hand. However, the president was not at all pleased with this. He asked if everyone had dealt with the zombie boss. The adventurers informed him that Lady Suan and the Beast Tamer boy managed to repel the Supreme Guild and finish off the level 15 boss. The president thought everyone was being sarcastic, but another blue-haired boy told him that even a regular attack from our boy could one-shot someone. The president could not bear any praise for an ordinary beast tamer and started cursing and scolding his guild members. He then pointed his finger at Zero, accusing him of daring to not listen to the orders of the president, who had the authority to kick him out. Zero immediately grabbed the finger pointing at him and bent it without any effort, telling the brat that he remembered being given orders to stay put. The president did not need to point fingers at him. Everyone was shocked at how Zero dared to lay a finger on the president, but our boy was not wrong. He told the president that his main task was to take down the boss, and he did so, completing the mission. Just then, the lady came forward and told the president that without Zero, they would have lost the boss a long time ago and might have been wiped out too. Instead of being cursed, Zero should be recognized for his achievements. But as no one spoke in favor of the lady due to the fear of the president, she immediately grabbed our boy by his hand, telling him to come with her because they had more quests to do. Deep inside, the president was getting as jealous as an insecure ex who was unable to move on from a girl. He told one of his subordinates to keep an eye on our boy and report any weaknesses. As the scene shifts, we come to the Norden Forest where a poisonous mist was flowing around, stinking like hell. Even Suan was not able to breathe properly. Zero informed her that the poison zombies were on another level compared to the fire and ice ones. Our boy explained that even though they did not have any elemental properties, they made up for it with a dangerous skill called poisonous physique. Those who attacked or were attacked by the poisonous zombies would enter a poisoned state that could not be cleansed for 5 seconds. The affected targets would lose 6% of their health every second. Suan almost started crying when she heard how dangerous the poisonous zombies were, but Zero assured her to just heal periodically so that nothing could happen. All of a sudden, the lady remembered something and immediately stopped Zero, giving him the reward for completing the guild quest. Our boy thanked the lady for doing so, but suddenly, a portal opened out of the blue and a poison zombie materialized into the forest from the portal, attacking both the lady and Zero. However, he was fast, and his reflexes were insane as he told the lady to enchant a buff and use the triple super fireball strike to one-shot the poison zombie even before it could reach them. The lady was really impressed by the damage Zero had done because it was enough to take out the zombie in just one shot. But our boy complimented the lady too, telling her that things went smoother than expected due to her buffs. As they went deeper inside the forest, Zero constantly sensed that someone was following him. The scene shifts, revealing it was the purple-haired subordinate of the president who reported that the boy was completing quests with the young lady and collecting zombie cores to refine their equipment. What he told next was a shock to the president. It was informed that the lady was on pretty friendly terms with the beast tamer, joking around here and there. After hearing this, the insecure and desperate act of the president began. The subordinate suggested finding a way to separate Zero from the lady in order to kick him out. As if the system gave them an opportunity, a notice came calling all the class shifters to the borders of Norden because a horde of zombies was rushing to invade the town in 30 minutes. Reading everything, the president gave off a devilish laugh while telling the subordinate that he would find a way to make sure that the beast tamer would have no place to stay in the Misty Rain Pavilion. The man could not understand how he would be able to defeat Zero when they were in the safe zones. The president laughed maniacally, telling his subordinate that once the zombie horde arrived in the village, the protections given to the players would be disabled for the other class shifters, and it would be their opportunity to take Zero down. The scene shifts back to the Norden forests where Zero and Suan had killed multiple zombies and collected a large amount of gold and materials. The lady informed our boy that with just a little more work, they would be done with collecting the cores and the horde of zombies would show up in 30 minutes, giving them enough time. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a poisonous zombie came near and bit Zero on the shoulder. The lady immediately started activating her spell and defeated the zombie before it could do any more damage. Zero used the frost scepter to blow up the head of the zombie. The lady was really worried, but he told her that if they walked along the riverside, they were bound to get their feet wet. So, just a little amount of damage would not do anything to our boy. But Zero was still sensing some constant eyes on him, lurking in the shadows. As the scene shifts, we see that Zero and Suan arrived at Norden Town, and the system congratulated them for completing the quest. Both of them leveled up to 17 and 16, respectively. The lady started smiling, telling Zero that she was now a level 16 individual and had even gotten 2 pieces of level 15 equipment of 2-star rank. Zero smiled lightly, materializing his scorpion pet, and telling the lady that he was at level 17. The lady realized that if Zero had not been sharing his experience with his pet, he would surely be at level 20 by now. She added that, since the zombie horde was approaching soon, Zero should refine his equipment. After thanking the lady for reminding him, Zero got back to his work and started refining all his equipment to golden tier. He got explosive resistant armor and leggings, and whenever this equipment was used on a player, they would no longer fear zombie assaults. Zombies wouldn't get closer to them. Zero started smiling, thinking that with these 2 pieces of equipment on his level 15 silver armored scorpion, no one in the second world would be able to deal any damage to either of them. Even the lady smiled as both of them got ready, enthusiastically telling Zero to go and take on the horde with her. But suddenly, a notification popped up from Chen, who told the lady to head over to the office because there was something they needed her for, and even her sister, along with the key managerial persons, were in the office. Suan knew that something important was happening and immediately apologized to our boy, telling him that he would have to take care of the horde by himself. Our boy understood and told the lady to hurry up before the event started, because after that she would not be able to leave. But the lady was really worried for our boy, telling him that even when the zombies were lower than level 13, they would have a large advantage of being in a group. Zero gave her a faint smile, telling the lady not to worry too much. As the scene shifts, we see that Zero watched the lady use the portal to exit the world. Just then, a notification popped up, telling all the adventurers to prepare for the zombie horde. It informed them that until all waves had been repelled, the class shifters would be unable to leave the alternate world, and the protective effects of Norden would have been lifted. But for completing the quest, a player would just have to kill more than 50 zombies and survive the wave till the end. Finally, the gates to the entrance of Norden were opened with force, and multiple zombies started running towards the citizens and players with their hungry eyes and devilish laughs. All the adventurers were ready to defend themselves with the equipment they had, but Zero was not even making an effort because he knew that even when the zombie horde was endless, a wave would just last for an hour and then the zombies would leave for a while. So all they needed to do was take out 50 of them in that 1 hour. But suddenly, multiple messages popped up in front of our boy. Some people from the Misty Rain Pavilion were calling him to a desolate place for coaching and to fend off multiple zombies. Zero wasn't as dumb as some others and realized that something was fishy, but he still decided to go. As Zero arrived at the dark and desolate place, he saw that multiple adventurers had already been killed by the zombies, but 2 dark silhouettes were watching him from a window. Thinking that the idiot beast tamer came to the place without even using his brain, we see that it was the president and his subordinate. They were talking to each other, noting that even when Zero had a high damage output, he was heavily injured by a poison zombie, so his defense must be pretty low. As per the order of the president, the subordinate had hired 12 archers lying in ambush at the back alley of the place. Just by the assumption that our boy had low defense, the president hired some more men and told them to wait at the respawn point for our boy to resurrect so that he would not be able to revive any further, no matter how many resurrection scrolls he had. The president wanted to kill him over and over again, laughing maniacally and telling his subordinate that the woman Zero was becoming friendly with was only his to claim. As the scene shifts, we see that Zero had arrived at the designated place and even announced to everyone that he was there. As soon as he stepped his foot into their range, a large number of arrows started dropping down onto him with insane speeds. But without any delay, Zero immediately summoned his silver-armored scorpion, which deflected all the arrows like they were mere flies in the way of his master. Both the president and the subordinate were shocked to see that Zero's actual defense was not low. Instead, he used his pet to defend himself. A system notification popped up, telling Zero that as he had been attacked by fellow class shifters intentionally, within the next 10 minutes he would not be penalized for killing his opponents, even if they were teammates. Now it was Zero who had a maniacal laugh as he asked everyone if they were done with their show, because now it was his turn to shine. After Zero's deadly smile, the massacre of all the opponents began, and multiple notifications popped up as humans were blown away, indicating that Zero had defeated the class shifters. As it was a no-sin window for 10 minutes, there were no penalties applied to our boy. His legendary scorpion pet slammed and kicked the adventurers who were trying to kill him. Time passed, and the pet raged on, graying out the names of multiple class shifters one by one. In the middle of all this, Zero was shooting fireballs here and there, dealing even greater damage. This was too much for him. He had been ambushed by the president, who was so insecure that he could not even tolerate someone better than him. So Zero wanted to teach him a lesson. The president was now open-mouthed, unable to understand how our boy was so strong. He immediately turned towards his subordinate, blaming him for lying because he was the one who told the president that Zero's defensive stats were weak. The president wanted the subordinate to explain how the hell this massacre was happening, but the subordinate was clueless because Zero was clever and never showed his true power to anyone. Their conversation was interrupted when Zero used the super large fireball and threw it towards the president and subordinate. Somehow, they were able to dodge this ferocious attack, but as they looked ahead, they saw that Zero was coming towards them with a golden aura surrounding him. As Zero smiled at the president for thinking that he could ambush someone so powerful with such pretty tricks and sticks, the president acted like it wasn't his fault and asked Zero what he meant. But our boy started exposing him, telling him that ever since he had taken down the Zombie King boss, the president had been keeping an eye on him and looking for a chance to bring Zero down. The president immediately realized that Zero had known everything all along and pretended to have low defenses to get the president to drop his guard. Zero smiled, telling the man that he had nothing against him, but he just wanted to see how the president would react. The old man was not only insecure but also dumb. He straight up readied his crossbow and fired an arrow towards Zero while telling him that he wanted him dead. As soon as the arrow left the bow, Zero immediately used the frost blast from his frost scepter, freezing both the weapon and the arrow in midair. But as soon as this happened, the subordinate tried playing tricks, telling the guild members that Zero was daring to turn his blade against his superiors, so he should be killed. Now they had a reason to act officially and thought that no one would inquire. Every guild member with them immediately jumped towards our boy, ready to kill him. But Zero was not going to spare anyone. He materialized a huge super fireball from his scepter and burned the assassin to a crisp with just one shot. The president, as always, was open-mouthed, unable to understand how Zero managed to take down an elite assassin, wondering who the hell he really was. As the man was converted into fries, Zero launched a fireball attack on the president too, while telling him that he was just someone the president should not have messed with. Finally, the president got a notification that he was killed by a necromancer named Zero, who was level 17, but as they had their resurrection scrolls, they immediately teleported to the resurrection shrine. The subordinate immediately realized from the name Zero that he was the same guy who cleared the first world in half a day's time. Another thing that shocked them was the mention of a necromancer when our boy was supposed to be a beast tamer. But the president immediately shut his subordinate up, telling him that he did not know anything. The president realized that this was the reason Zero was always hiding his identity, because he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. He declared to the subordinate that he would never stand together with Zero, and this much was pretty clear from the things he was always doing. As the scene shifts, we come to the real world in the Su family building, where Suan was screaming, telling everyone that she would never agree. There was a conversation going on about Suan being married to the president, and the lady was not agreeing, but the head of the Chen family just smiled, telling the lady that affections can slowly develop, and even his uncle had something special for her. A lady immediately popped open a suitcase, and as it was opened, everyone saw that there were many energy potions of mythical grade that would increase alternate energy by 100-fold. Along with that, there was a devil's outfit forged by a legendary blacksmith. It was a level 30 outfit with a 3-star attribute that increased the duration of all crowd control effects by 50%. The uncle told the lady that they had spent 5 million on the potion, while the Chen family spent 8 million finding all sorts of blacksmiths to secure the outfit for the lady. The man spoke, saying that his son was his only heir, and he would eventually inherit the company. So, when the lady marries the brat, she would have access to everything they had. But the lady immediately disagreed, thanking the uncle for his generosity, but she wanted to still decide her life on her own. As the uncle was getting annoyed, the head of the foundation immediately started screaming at the girl, telling her that the Su family had spent a considerable amount on developing her, but she was still mannerless to speak such nonsense out in public. Her sister could not bear to hear this. She immediately went towards her younger sister, telling the uncle to understand that her sister was not a bargaining token ready to be exchanged, and no one should make such a decision on her behalf. The lady immediately told Suan not to worry because her sister would always be on her side in the search for happiness. Hearing that, Suan smiled, thanking her big sister. But suddenly the phones of Chen and the sister started ringing. They were informed that his son was killed by none other than Zero himself. Even the big sister was shocked upon hearing this, but the uncle was now furious, telling everyone that his son received the president's position in exchange for his sponsorship to the foundation, but now the guild's men were turning their blades against his only son. Even Uncle Su was sweating, telling Chen that there must be some kind of misunderstanding, but the man immediately stood up, telling everyone that he would be back if anything happened to his son. He got out of the conference hall, slamming the door behind him. The uncle immediately told the ladies that Zero was the man they employed, but the Chen family had been sponsoring the foundation as a vital shareholder, and anything that happened to his son would not be tolerated. Su Yan immediately started speaking in favor of her boy, telling the uncle that there had to be a good reason, because Zero would not attack his fellow guildmates unprovoked. But the head was not ready to listen to anything. He immediately ordered the ladies to bring Zhang Yu over so that he could bow down and apologize to the Chen family, or he would be expelled from the Misty Rain Pavilion. Suddenly, the phone of the older sister rang, and it was the call of none other than Zero himself. He told the lady straightforward, before she could even speak, that he was quitting the guild effective immediately. The lady was shocked from head to toe as she started screaming on the phone, telling Zhang Yu that she knew Chen was the one who provoked him first. The lady wanted Zero to not be impulsive and promised to prove his innocence in front of the guild, but Zero immediately denied re-entry into the guild and cut the call on the face of the lady, thinking that it was good for him to sever ties with the pavilion. Chen was really a narrow-minded person with a large amount of money, money, and he would definitely seek revenge rather than understand his own mistakes. So, it was better for Zero to stop dragging things out and cut ties decisively. As for the medical monthly expenses of $50,000, Zero would be able to earn it by selling materials. To obtain higher level materials, he needed to finish the second world quickly and move to the third world. Our boy realized that he still needed to survive 2 waves of the undead and clear a dungeon to complete the tasks in the second world. Among the 3 dungeons in the second world, Deathland was of the highest level, and the materials it dropped were relatively more advanced. He knew that at his current level of 17, he should be able to solo clear the level 20 Deathland without any issues, but he remembered that there was a lower level dungeon of level 15. His train of thought got interrupted by a band of goons who started trying to intimidate him, asking if he was not the famous beast tamer from the Pavilion. Zero was serious as he told the goons to move aside because he was in a really bad mood. The leader of the band started taunting him, telling him to try and kill them if he dared. Hearing such taunts, Zero immediately realized that the goons were not picking a fight for fun, but were doing it on purpose. Our boy surrounded himself with an ominous and dominating aura, asking the band leader how much Chen paid them to get on his nerves. As stupid as the man was, he immediately told Zero that the president had been paying each of them 5,000 and a revival scroll for annoying him, and they would get an extra 5,000 every time they got killed by Zero. Zero smiled, happy that the president was taking him seriously, but he realized that even though taking these goons out was easy, doing so would turn him into a player with sin points. Clearing his name would mean he could not log off, enter any safe zones, or even activate the boss challenge. Until he cleared the sin points, he would be stuck in the second world. While Zero was still thinking about it, the purple-haired brat immediately came from behind, telling the goons that he would pay double if they killed the president of the Pavilion instead. Finally, Yao gave the goons an offer to compensate them with 50,000 if they killed the president. Even the goons did not understand who the brat was, but one of his subordinates introduced him as Lin Yao, the eldest son of the wealthiest family in the whole city. The goons, greedy for this large amount of money, immediately started running towards the president. Yao asked Zero if he was really kicked out of the Pavilion because the president was spreading this rumor worldwide, ensuring that our boy could not take a single step out of this world. Yao saw this opportunity to hire our boy into his guild so they could protect him from the president and offer him a large sum of money, but Zero just turned around, telling the brat that he was not interested in joining any guild right now because of what had happened. As Zero started walking away, Yao's subordinate told him that even though he stood up multiple times and spent so much money on Zero, he was still being impolite and hadn't even thanked Yao. But Yao was already mesmerized by our boy, telling the subordinate to shut up because he just suffered by joining one guild, so it was understandable that Zero did not want to join any guild for now and could not trust any of them. Yao just smiled, thinking about how blind the people of the Pavilion were for letting go of such insane talent. Meanwhile, as Zero walked away from Yao, he thought that only leaving the Pavilion would not help him avoid Chen. The president must be dealt with to prevent any future trouble. Finally, we see that Zero stood in front of a level 15 dark corpse nest. Zero realized that most players aimed for better rewards and teamed up to farm the highest level dungeon of Deathland, while the low-level dark corpse nest was always neglected. But Zero decided to solo this dungeon instead. There was an old NPC standing there, calling Zero a brave adventurer and asking if he wanted to challenge the dark corpse nest dungeon. The old man had a green emerald type artifact. As Zero agreed to the challenge, the old man immediately gave him the emerald artifact. It was an ordinary token that could be refined into golden tokens, upgrading the dark corpse nest into a hidden dungeon. The probability of upgrading was extremely low, and the energy required was so much that players of this level were not even ready to try. But regardless of how low the probability was, our boy had so much energy that it was almost infinite. Zero decided to refine the token until a golden token appeared, no matter how much time it took. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to show all the goons running around, finding and hunting the president because of the 50,000 which Yao promised them. The president could not understand why the guys he hired were turning against him. The subordinate guessed that it must be Zero's doing, but the president knew that he could not use the revival scrolls for the next 5 days due to the rapid killing that the goons did. To be safe, he would have to wait until the cooldown refreshed before leveling up again, or he would definitely be killed permanently this time. As the president gritted his teeth, it was as as if fate wanted to give him another opportunity. A notification popped up in the sky, calling all the players into the Dark Corpse Nest dungeon, which had now become a hidden dungeon. The players who entered the dungeon would also get one free revival. The president started smiling as he read everything, ordering the subordinate to gather all the members quickly and challenge their dungeons so that he could level up without the worry of getting killed. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to show Yao killing monsters in another dungeon. As he looked at the free revival point, he decided to also enter the dungeon. Chen wanted to gather some rare equipment along with experience points without the fear of permanent death. As the scene shifts for the last time, we see that Zero had already almost cleared the dungeon while holding the emerald artifact in his hand. He knew that one of the tasks in the second world was to clear a dungeon, and the rewards from the upgraded hidden dungeon would significantly increase. But he also realized that the guild president was really greedy and would definitely be coming into the hidden dungeon, thinking he wouldn't be killed due to the free revival. As Zero looked around, he saw a monster forming with a purple flame-like substance. It transformed into a huge monster with tentacles for a mouth and multiple crimson eyes. This was the Dark Zombie Lord, the gatekeeper of the dungeon, who would need to be defeated for Zero to enter. Our boy smiled, getting ready with his Frost Scepter to face off against this threat. After he was ready, Zero faced off against the gatekeeper without even flinching. After just 2 or 3 super fireball attacks, the zombie gatekeeper was no more. Taking its last breath, our boy threatened the monster, telling it that if it kept waking up, he would blow it to smithereens and make it cease to exist. Suddenly, a notification popped up, telling Zero that a large number of challengers had entered the Dark Corpse Nest. Our boy turned around, thinking that the secret realms and the benefits of free resurrection were not just for Chen, but also opportunities for other civilians who couldn't afford resurrection scrolls. They would get to farm monsters longer and level up faster. Zero guessed that along with Suan, the brat Yao and Chen would be inside the Dark Corpse Nest too, along with the Pavilion and the Supreme Guild. But Zero had already decided that he had only one target, so he would try his best not to involve others and complicate relationships. Finally, Zero materialized the crystal ticket and activated the permission change function. As the holder of the prestigious golden ticket, Zero now had the permission to change 3 rules for the Dark Corpse Nest. As he entered the permission changes, the scene shifts, and we see the president along with the guild fighting monsters for free experience. Meanwhile, Chen always kept looking back, telling Suan to not stray too far away from him. But the lady had something else in her mind. She was thinking that she had to find a way to find Zhang Yu. If it wasn't for the elders of the family, she wouldn't even care about the life or death of this pathetic brat, who was the president. Suddenly, everyone was shocked to their heels because multiple notifications popped up, telling all the professionals who entered the nest that due to the permission changes made by the holder of the golden ticket, the free resurrection mechanism upon death was now cancelled. The adventurers could not use return scrolls within the nest or exit either. The scary part was that Zero had made a rule that all named professionals in the realm would not increase their sin value, even when they killed each other. The entrance to the realm was now closed, so there was no way they could exit the nest without completing the mission. Finally, the secret realm mission appeared, which was to kill 500 zombies along with the realm's guardian, the Dark Zombie Lord. It was as if the president's deepest nightmare was materializing in front of him. He started screaming at the person who was insane enough to change the permissions of the nest because he thought that maybe that person did not want to live in this world any longer. But the subordinate was not as dumb as the president and told him that maybe the person who activated the nest was Zero, who was trying to deliberately lure them all in. But as stubborn as the president was, he refused to believe that Zero had so much alternate energy to refine the ticket into the golden secret ticket. Suddenly, the lady made a disgusted look and told the president that it was clearly obvious that the permission changes done by the ticket holder were specifically aimed at someone. But the president was not ready to believe it, telling the lady that the ticket holder must be a guy who was afraid of too many competitors and wanted to monopolize the first dungeon clear rewards. He still tried to act cool and dependable, telling the lady not to worry because he was there, and no matter how the permissions changed, he believed that he would guide Suan through the secret realm without any worries. For him, It was as if killing 500 zombies was really a cakewalk. But the lady already knew the stamina of the president and realized the bluff that he was making. She wanted the man to think about saving himself first and then worry about her. As the scene shifts, we see the clearly evident cowardly nature of the president as he stood behind all the soldiers, commanding them to take the lead and take down the boss so that the first clear reward of the dungeon would go to the pavilion. Suddenly, the subordinate saw someone and told the president to look that way. As you all know, the president was always in his own world, wondering who was faster than the pavilion. But suddenly, all of them heard a menacing but familiar voice, and it was none other than our boy Zero, who had already fainted the gatekeeper zombie. The president was almost wetting his pants while Suan started blushing just from looking at our boy sitting on the monster like a boss, mocking the president for being too late. But the lady did not care. She swiftly started jumping, telling Zero that she was just about to come and find him. The president was as insecure as any red flag boy would be, wondering how Zero was able to activate the secret realm with the golden ticket. But Zero did what the president wanted the most, straight up ignored him. While asking everyone what they would do with this opportunity, Zero reminded them that the whole pavilion was trying to kill him by any means necessary, and now it was their turn to do so. Even when the president tried to push all the soldiers ahead, inside, the president knew how much of a coward he was. He only came to the nest due to the free resurrection benefits. He didn't even expect to find Zero inside, and he definitely knew that if Zero even blew air on his face, it would be his end. The president did what any scaredy cat would do. He started threatening Zero from behind his soldiers, boasting about how great the Chen family was and how wealthy they were. He tried to scare Zero by telling him that even the pavilion had to respect Chen due to his family status. He tried to use the lady against Zero, telling her to use her binding power to control our boy, but the lady straight up ignored the president. She told him that Zero was once a member of the pavilion, and when he was there, the president mistreated him and even tried to kill him. So now, if Zero even killed the president, it would be considered self-defense, and the lady would not assist the brat in any way if what he did was wrong. The president started sweating after he heard this response, but he was still not ready to admit defeat. He ordered his soldiers around, telling them to go and kill Zero at that instance. But the soldiers were not dumb enough to rush to their deaths, especially since they didn't even have resurrection scrolls. Suddenly, the president used his peanut brain for once and tried to manipulate the soldiers who had resurrection scrolls. He told them that if they died once at Zero's hands, he would compensate them with 5,000 coins. Hearing that, the soldiers became greedy, telling Zero that just as birds die for food, people also die for wealth, and that's what they were going to do. Our boy was just having a devilish laugh on his face, comparing the level 9 beast tide with the pavilion, thinking that they were just measly small fries in front of the tide. As the people from the pavilion started attacking our boy, he swiftly dodged each and every one of them and was ready to begin the massacre. He dealt insane damage to each and every one of them, while multiple notifications popped up in golden, telling Zero that he had killed multiple professionals but his sin value was not increasing. His eyes were glowing with a golden aura as he knew that he could now act freely without worrying about the massacre he was doing. The president had different plans. Thinking that Zero was busy, he told his men to go to the boss and take him down. But just as the soldiers were running towards the boss, the silver pet scorpion immediately materialized in front of them, blocking their way. Some people, as dumb as the president, thought it was just a huge scorpion and that they could take it down. But as one of the soldiers slammed his sword onto its head, the weapon immediately broke. Zero started smiling while informing them that the scorpion was a level 15 elite level monster wearing 2 pieces of level 15 2-star golden attribute armor. Suddenly, several arrows came flying from the sky, and the people from the pavilion were not able to even process who ambushed them. A strange but familiar voice echoed, offering a reward of 20,000 coins if they killed the guys from the pavilion. It seemed like Zero was 100% knowledgeable about who had entered the nest. Meanwhile, all the soldiers of the pavilion started running towards the people who ambushed them. Zero watched in amusement as the whole focus of the group shifted from him to the ambushers. As he turned around, our boy saw that it was Yao who ordered his men to deal with the brats of the pavilion. Addressing Zero as his people, Yao protected our boy from those barracks. He wanted Zero not to worry at all because Yao thought that as long as he was there, the worthless scum of the pavilion wouldn't amount to anything. But on the other hand, Zero was clearly annoyed by having to deal with this rich brat all the time. Even the president was shocked, countering Yao by telling him that he was not doing damage to any people of the Supreme Guild, and instead he was just attacking an independent adventurer, Zero. But Yao just smirked, telling the president that since Chen liked to use money for getting everything done, the purple-haired brat wanted to see if the president's money was more than his. Suddenly, Yao announced in front of everyone that he was going to give them a chance to get rich quickly. He told everyone that whoever killed the president of the pavilion would receive 1 billion coins from the Supreme Guild. The president peed his pants once again while he turned around, threatening his people and telling them that if they revolted against him, then the entire Chen family and Su family would get after their lives. But as the soldiers were still deciding whether to attack or not, the zombie started waking up after being fainted. As Zero looked at the ominous creature, he realized that the gatekeeper must be evolving. In another world, whenever a lord or boss level monster's health was low, there was a very low chance of the monster going berserk and evolving itself. To our boy, it seemed that the arrows shot by the Supreme Guild caused the zombie lord's health to continue decreasing, leading to the monster's evolution. A dangerous purple notification popped up, telling everyone that all the adventurers in the Dark Corpse Nest should note that the Dark Zombie Gatekeeper had gone berserk and had evolved into a level 17 3-star boss. The zombie had now evolved into a zombie tyrant king, with claws instead of hands and a covering spread all over its chest and back, making it hard to deal damage to the king. Yao started making distorted faces when he saw a real 3-star boss because no one had told him before that even a boss could actually level up mid-fight. Finally, the tyrant king started roaring and attacking everyone in its way, causing multiple explosions that dealt heavy damage to both the pavilion and the Supreme Guild. Suddenly, a notification popped up, telling everyone that due to the berserk state of the dungeon guardian, the difficulty of the dungeon had increased, and the exit of the Dark Corpse Nest was now forcefully opened, so that all the adventurers could leave the dungeon at any time through the exit if they found the boss too tough. Reading everything, Chen started smiling because it was as if the whole heaven was now helping him. He saw the portal just behind him and knew that he had a chance of escaping, but the president did not leave without taking revenge. He immediately readied his bow and arrow, looking towards Yao and shooting the arrow to attract the tyrant's attention to the rich brat. As he shot the arrow, a yellow glimmer started shining above the purple-haired brat. When the monster turned around and saw the measly human, it started roaring and running towards Yao. Even the man started screaming for help, and everything started taking a whole 180 deg turn. But suddenly, our boy stepped in, protecting Yao with his silver-armored scorpion. As the Tyrant King attacked, the scorpion was heavily damaged, and even Zero realized that he should upgrade the silver-armored scorpion more because just dealing with the Tyrant King was causing the scorpion to lose so much health. Meanwhile, Chen started smiling as he ran towards the portal, calling Zero and Yao worthless fools for even daring to think they could kill the president. According to him, for them to kill him would take another 10,000 years because it was not so easy. Chen was devilishly laughing, telling Zero to take his time defeating the monster while he ran away. Even when Zero started screaming to stop the president, he was busy with the Tyrant King, and even the armored scorpion was not able to fully defend his master and Yao at the same time. The creature started coughing blood all over due to the insane impact of the attacks. As Zero turned around, he immediately started brainstorming, thinking that he could only use his teleportation once. If he went after Chen to kill him, then Yao, who had no chance of resurrection, would die at the hands of the Tyrant King because the silver-armored scorpion was not able to do much. Finally, Zero decided to step in and save his savior first. He immediately used his Frost Scepter, making an ice wall and dealing 175 damage to the Tyrant King, freezing the creature in place for some moments. Zero grabbed Yao's hand, screaming at him to run and save his life. But before they could even get away from the range of the Tyrant King, the creature attacked with its pincer hands, smashing the ice along the way and dealing heavy damage to both Zero and Yao. Even our boy could not believe that his high-level ice spike only dealt a little over 100 damage to the Tyrant King. He realized that a level 17 3-star boss was indeed a bit difficult to deal with, and now he could only rely on his greater agility to find opportunities to cast spells and counterattack the demon through positioning instead of physical attacks. Finally, our boy started dodging each and every attack attack of the Tyrant King swiftly as he chipped away the health of the monster bit by bit. Meanwhile, Yao started screaming at his subordinates, telling them to not stand and wait but to hurry up and help Zero in this situation. Even the soldiers knew that if they started fighting with the demon, they would just become cannon fodder and get in the way of our boy. Meanwhile, Zero was getting damaged and wounded due to the relentless attacks of the Tyrant King, acknowledging the speed of the demon even though it was insanely big. Somehow, he was able to dodge an incoming attack from the Tyrant King, but as he looked up, he saw that one of the king's pincers was still coming down on him. He immediately realized that whatever was happening was not going to be good if he did not do anything. Zero was shocked because the zombie gatekeeper was almost going to get him, but before the monster could actually do so, Suan used her binding power on the creature, paralyzing it and stopping it in place, telling Zero that it was now time for him to attack. As the monster roared, Zero immediately readied his Frost Scepter, using the Super Fireball attack. Meanwhile, all the members of the Supreme Guild were shocked because only our boy and the lady were really soloing a 3-star boss now. Even Yao identified the lady as being from the Su family and noted that she had just become a forbidden mage. He realized that epic class players were indeed impressive, and that every skill of theirs had control effects. But the only one who could impress that monster of a lady was actually our boy. Yao started smiling devilishly while thinking that for a 3-star boss, the Supreme Guild had died thousands of times already, but for Zero, anything was possible. Yao was gleaming in full gold, telling everyone that he wanted to recruit both Zero and the lady into his Supreme Guild. But the subordinates of the rich brat were still sane, telling the man that the lady was the second young daughter of the Su family and she already had the pavilion to take care of. There was no way that Yao would be able to handle two such big shots like Zero and Suan together. As the scene shifts back, we see that the monster was getting heavily wounded and damaged due to the control and impact skills of our boy and Su Yan. Even Zero realized that he was lucky the monster was already on low health. The lady immediately looked at our boy, screaming at him to give the monster the final blow. But Zero just smiled, telling the lady that he couldn't deal the final blow because he was the secret realm seeker of the golden ticket. For a moment, the lady was completely shocked, but then she started engulfing herself in a purple aura, understanding what Zero wanted to say. Using her flowing fire attack from the mage staff, the purple flame which engulfed the lady moments ago now attacked the monster. It was such a final blow that it obliterated the whole existence of the monster, leveling up all the subordinates and people inside the corpse nest. Finally, a regional announcement congratulated the player Su Yan for being the first to clear the level 15 secret realm of the dark corpse nest. Finally, she received the reward, which included the rank scroll along with one other undisclosed item. All the people inside the dungeon were happy, dancing and jumping with joy. Yao immediately clung to Zero, telling him that he was the brat's lifesaver. But Zero brushed him off, telling him that if he had not come to the dungeon in the name of helping, then Chen would have been dead long ago. Letting a wounded tiger return to the mountain was bound to bring endless troubles. Even Yao was nervous for a second, thinking about what he should do, but then he just smiled, asking Zero if he should pay him about $1 million as punishment. Even our boy was shocked, asking the brat if he had something else besides money. This was a stab into the heart of the rich boy. He immediately started explaining that his dream was to recruit all the strong players and build the strongest guild in the world, and that's why he was asking Zero to join his guild. But our boy was not interested at all, rubbing off the hand of the rich brat and asking him to let go. Yao still continued, telling Zero that his family had the largest pharmacy in the whole city, and as long as Zero joined the guild, there would be endless supplies of medicine. But as Zero seemed uninterested, Yao became serious, telling him that their family had cooperative relationships with the top forging family, the Xiao family, and the enchanting family of Shongan. This sparked the interest of our boy, and he asked about the forging master. Finally, Yao noticed that Zero was interested and started explaining that his dad was old friends with the head of the Xiao family. As long as there were enough materials, any equipment could be made with just one word from him, and it would greatly benefit our boy in every case. Even Zero started thinking that compared to buying the equipment, forgers could often create higher quality equipment at a lower price. Somehow guessing what our boy was thinking, Yao immediately smiled, telling Zero that even if he was not ready to join the Supreme Guild, they should still have each other's contact. If our boy ever needed equipment made, Yao could help him get in touch with the Xiao family. Finally, our boy found it reasonable and decided to at least share his contact info with the rich brat, as it would be beneficial for both of them. Zero then took Suan and moved towards the end of the portal for teleporting out of the dungeon. Yao and his subordinates waved their hands in goodbye as the scene shifted. We come out of the dungeon where the president and his lackeys were hanging around, talking about Suan and how her epic class was indeed impressive, because they all saw that she was the one who cleared the dungeon just now. All the subordinates were wondering about who was the man that would be enough for such a beautiful and capable lady, but the president immediately stopped them after hearing this, telling them that Su Yan was the key member of his pavilion and was the epitome of strength. This brat described the guild as his own, thinking that he owned it. But suddenly the genius subordinate once again came with a clutch, telling the president that even when Suan killed the boss, Zero definitely survived the monster too, and even he was pretty strong. For once, the president agreed, telling the subordinate that he underestimated our boy. He could have never believed that Zero could actually use the secret realm to set a trap and ambush the president. He swore on his life that he was going to defeat Zero by any means necessary, but for now, his strength was just too formidable, and he had the Supreme Guild backing him. Suddenly, the president realized that just because they couldn't kill our boy doesn't mean that others couldn't. Even the subordinate wanted in on the plan, and the president reminded him that last year quite a few veteran players were stuck in the third world, and their levels were at least over 30. Since the Chen family helped them, they wouldn't ignore the president even upon such a request. The president started smiling devilishly, deciding that if Zero actually survived the third world and got out alive, he would eat his own back upside down. As the scene shifts, we see that Zero was hanging out with the lady. She asked if he was considering her as his enemy, since it was Chen who treated him badly. Zero turned around calmly, telling the lady that the person who does the deed is the only person who takes the blame. He currently only had one enemy, and that was the president. But of course, if the pavilion insisted on helping the president in any way, then Zero wouldn't mind having a few more names on his list. The lady immediately swore that she would not help that kind of person, and just like our boy, the person she hated the most was also Chen. But suddenly the lady stopped and told Zero that it was him who let her have the last hit on the monster, so all the loot that she got rightfully belonged to him. Finally, Zero smiled, looking at the equipment and thinking that refining these and all the skill books would greatly enhance his damage dealing and health limits. But suddenly a regional announcement was made, once again telling all the players in the city that a zombie tide would invade in 30 minutes, and this zombie tide was actually level 15. Suan was finally happy because she would get to fight the zombies along with her crush. Zero started smiling because he knew that as long as he survived this zombie tide, the world quest would be complete, and he could head on to the third world. As Zero and the lady were getting ready, she was slammed by another person. We come to know that it was none other than the gold digger girlfriend, Lin, who told Zero while kneeling down that she was so wrong and asked our boy to forgive her. But Zero sarcastically asked the gold digger what she meant by forgiving. The lady showed her true colors, telling Zero that him not liking her was actually bugging her. But Suan pointed out the hypocrisy of the lady, telling her that she was the one who dumped our boy instead of him. The lady tried to butter Zero up, telling him that even when she was bothered by the lack of money before, it was an instinct inside girls who always dream of having a good life full of wealth. But now that Zero was not a loser anymore, Lin was actually seeking a bright future with him ahead, and knew that if they got back together, she would be able to make our boy happy. Hearing this, Zero just smiled, wondering how shameless the gold digger actually was. Suddenly, a large horde of zombies started incoming towards the forest, and Zero pushed the lady aside, getting ready to face the zombie horde. Su Yan told him that she had just made some adjustments after the secret realm ended, so now she was ready. Zero looked at the lady once again, asking her why, even after having such a bright future, he would choose a petty lady like Lin. Zero wanted nothing to do with a relationship with his ex, telling her to get lost. The gold digger was shocked by this reply, realizing that the actual Jong would not have said anything like this to her, even after she treated him badly. But there was no time to argue because the zombie horde was now getting closer to the boy and his group. Suan was somehow holding her ground, telling Zero that as there were too many zombies coming towards her, she would not be able to control all of them. Finally, Zero shifted his attention from the gold digger lady, summoning the silver armored scorpion pet and ordering him to save Suan at all costs. Meanwhile, Zero materialized his frost scepter and started using the super fireball attack, obliterating multiple zombies in one go. Suddenly they heard the gold digger lady as she started screaming from behind, asking Zero to save her because multiple zombies had already caught her and were trying to do some naughty things with her. Even when Suan tried to save the lady, Zero cared about Suan first, telling her not to go because she would not be able to save anyone and would actually be getting herself into trouble instead. Lin was shocked by this reply from her ex, realizing that she was no one in his heart anymore. Suddenly, above Lin's head, there was a starlight symbol which symbolized death. Zero and Su Yan realized that her number of revivals had already run out, and the gold digger would not be able to save herself even if she tried. Even Zero, who was just using Zhong's body, was saddened by the demise of the gold digger. But finally, he got back to his senses, thinking that there was no time to lament the past, and they should deal with the zombie tide first. Deep inside, he remembered the old memories of Zhong, knowing what the gold digger meant to the actual man. As the scene shifts, we see that the whole zombie tide was roaring as they were getting obliterated by our boy and the lady. Suan informed Zero that this was already their third wave, but still, the zombie tide was not stopping. Zero informed Suan that the limit of the zombie tides was actually just 3 in a day, so they were nearing the end, and the lady just needed to wait for the tide to reside. Suddenly, a notification popped up in front of our boy, telling him that the second world task of repelling 3 zombie tides was completed, but the task of clearing a secret realm was still not over. Zero realized that if he wanted to enter the third world early, he would need to clear a secret realm as soon as possible. Realizing this, Zero told Su Yan that as the zombie tide should reside soon, the lady should rest up and restore her health for now. When the lady asked our boy where he was going, he just vaguely told her that he had some other things to take care of. Even when Su Yan wanted to join in with her crush, she was not able to do so because her health was low. As the scene shifts, we come to the zombie hospital of level 17, and we see that Zero was inside this secret realm, deciding that before the zombie tide actually ends, he would clear the secret realm. As our boy entered the hospital, multiple frozen zombies who were once human looked at him in a lethal manner, but Zero just smiled while summoning the silver armored scorpion, telling him that there was a lot of experience waiting for him in disguise of zombies. In just a matter of minutes, Zero was able to completely obliterate the secret realm of the zombie hospital while gaining multiple coins, along with 200,000 experience and 30,000 alternate energy. He also got the Demon Slayer staff along with the lightning spell. Last but not least, Zero was now a level 20 individual, and he was happy as he gave his scorpion pet multiple pet eggs and some coins so that it could slowly evolve and become a mythical level creature soon. Our boy had also gained a new skill and new equipment with increased attack power and health. Once the zombie tide recedes, he could finally prepare to clear the second world and go into the third one. He had also got a new Demon Slayer weapon, which was a 3-star Beast Tamer item. This Demon Slayer staff would actually reduce 200 mana points from the enemy, and if the enemy did not have any mana left, then 200 points would be deducted from its health. Zero realized that this was a really lethal weapon. Suddenly, a message popped up behind him from Suan, who told him that the zombie tide was finally over, and now they should go and fight the second world boss together. Just after that, another message popped up from Yao of the Supreme Guild, who needed some help from our boy. Yao told him that he was also going to slay the second world boss and wanted some help in the process. Our boy started thinking that with a forbidden mage's assistance, the odds of defeating the secret boss were definitely better. As for Yao, he had also helped our boy a few times, and it was time for Zero to return the favor. Finally, our boy messaged them that 15 minutes later, he would see them at the entrance of the Norden village. Both Su Yan and Yao immediately agreed to this proposal. 15 minutes later, the whole team met outside Norden City of Zombies, but Zero was shocked to see that Yao had actually brought a lot of people from the Supreme Guild. Suan even asked the brat why he had brought so many people behind him. Yao just started laughing, telling Zero that even when our boy was invincible compared to all the others, this was still the second world's final boss. Yao did not want to leave any stone unturned and wanted to be prepared for anything. Our boy just gave an awkward smile to Yao, telling him that as long as he was happy, he could bring as many people as he wanted. Finally, a large system notification popped up, telling everyone that the whole team had completed their missions and were now able to activate the second world boss. Once the boss was defeated, they could enter the third world. As the system was already detecting a large number of people gathered near the portal, it wanted to know if they would like to enter the second world boss stage. Finally, Zero acted on behalf of everyone and threw a small fireball towards the yes button, activating the portal in the process and getting ready to enter the second world boss's domain. Our boy told everyone to just follow him and not get lost. As the scene shifts, we see that the second world boss domain was actually inside an abandoned city, which was down in the dumps. The whole ominous aura of the place was giving anxiety to everyone. There stood a level 20 undead emperor with the attribute of physical magic. It was a 3-star boss with high attributes, and the monster was so huge that even Yao was shocked. Compared to the first world boss, the wild boar, this undead emperor was on a completely different level. The subordinate realized this and told Yao that previously in the secret realm, they were almost killed by the level 17 boss. Now, they would have to deal with a monster who was level 20. He wondered if they would really be able to do this. But suddenly, to everyone's surprise, Zero told all of them to not move at all, and also warned Suan to stay away from him for a little while. If she stayed too close to the boss, she would get caught in the crossfire. The lady immediately understood what Zero wanted to say and agreed to follow his orders. Meanwhile, Zero started summoning his armored scorpion pet, telling him that it was now his time to shine after all these level ups. A purple aura surrounded the Scorpion King while it made a hissing sound, getting ready to obey the orders of his master. Zero realized that back in the secret realm, the undead horde was able to give them a lot of experience along with pet eggs, and due to it, the difference between the pet and the undead boss was largely closed. As the scene shifts, we see that the undead emperor was actually getting angry at the sight of another monster. He asked the humans if they would like to try the taste of death. The emperor started smiling wickedly while dealing damage to the silver-armored scorpion, but Zero summoned his new demon slayer staff, materializing a super fireball spell which was even bigger than before. Our boy slammed the whole fireball straight onto the face of the undead emperor while it was roaring. Our boy was happy with the new equipment he had because due to it, the whole magical damage he could do was drastically increased. After the power-up, the boss was just a slightly stronger monster than the usual ones. Knowing that he was going to be defeated, the undead emperor snapped into anger, telling the silver-armored scorpion to get lost. The monster gave off a relentless laugh, telling Zero that it was going to show him the real strength of the undead emperor. Just then, the hands of the undead emperor started protruding from the ground, and the monster used his death crack attack. Multiple bones started piercing out from the ground, acting like tendrils. Even when the silver-armored scorpion tried to protect all the humans, the undead emperor dealt heavy damage to the pet, throwing him several meters away into the air. Yao immediately ran towards the scorpion pet. Knowing that he was the strongest tanker the team had, he ordered all his men to immediately use their healing skills and recover the health that the armored pet had lost. Meanwhile, Zero was ready to face off with the undead emperor while the creature used his flaming light attack. But suddenly, before his attack could even succeed, Suan started using her skills and controlled the monster, paralyzing him in place. Meanwhile, the lady told Zero that she would not be able to control such a big monster for long, and whatever our boy had to do, he would have to do it fast. Zero got ready after listening to the lady, summoning multiple elemental spells onto his new staff, telling the undead emperor that he was too weak to cause such a commotion. A large chain of spells started falling down onto the emperor, dealing an insane amount of damage as the fire and ice started exploding onto the skin of the undead emperor. Even Yao was shocked by this because a level 23 star boss was now down to a quarter of its health in just a few moments. Our boy realized that it was finally time for him to end this. Zero started using his lightning ring, summoning a huge bolt of lightning which crashed onto the undead emperor, making him fall onto the ground completely defeated. As the boss fell down, Zero looked at him with a serious gaze, while both Yao and Su Yan were impressed by the raw power of our boy. Finally, a notification opened up, telling Zero that the undead emperor of the second world was now being punished by heaven and earth due to the use of the ring. Suddenly, the whole ground started shaking, and Yao was not able to understand what was happening inside the secret realm. We see that the undead emperor was not completely defeated and was just unconscious. Knowing that he would not be able to deal with Zero, he decided to bring the entire human race inside the secret realm down with him so that they could enter hell along with the undead emperor. The monster started using self-explosion to deal enough damage for the entire human race to drop into lava. Hearing this, Yao started screaming and crying, grabbing the leg of our boy, telling him that he did not have any more resurrection scrolls, and if he was killed again, he would die for real. But as the system had accepted that the boss was defeated, the exit portal opened up. The problem was that it was far beyond the reach of our boy and all the human comrades, and Zero knew there was not enough time for him to run there. Suddenly, he looked at the armored scorpion who was on the other side and got an insane idea. Our boy immediately grabbed the collar of the brat and the hand of the lady, even when he wanted to grab something else. While he told them there was no time to explain, Zero threw both of these people with all his might, telling the armored scorpion to use his full strength and throw them towards the exit of the safe zone. The armored scorpion immediately realized what he had to do. Yao thought Zero was playing some kind of cruel joke on him, but without wasting any time, the armored scorpion pet threw the lady along with Yao towards the end portal, and they safely landed on the ground in the safe zone. Even when Yao thought he would have died inside the boss's realm, he was safe with the lady. But Suan was now worried for Zero, realizing that the exit portal was going to disappear soon. Inside the portal, we see that Zero reached the armored scorpion and made him grab our boy with full strength, ordering him to use all his might to throw him out of the portal. As Zero would be flying, he would also summon the armored scorpion back into the summoning space so that both of them could survive. The scorpion agreed to his master once again, throwing him straight towards the portal. Zero also summoned the armored scorpion back into his summoning space. As our boy was flying from the momentum, he looked at the bubbling lava beneath him, and suddenly there was an eruption coming straight in his way. Zero realized he was in a bad condition because his speed was going to break due to the lava. He realized he had to do something and quickly summoned his Demon Slayer staff, using the fire bullet attack and neutralizing the impact of the erupting explosion. Meanwhile, outside the portal, both Yao and Suan were panicking because the portal was going to disappear anytime soon. Even while they were crying, a blue shadow swiftly got behind the lady, and she realized that it was none other than our boy himself, who was smiling as he had achieved the impossible and got out of the second world's boss domain. Both the lady and Yao ran towards our boy, asking him if he was fine. Zero stood up, telling them they did not have to worry at all because now all three of them were safe. The system notification popped up, telling them that Zero, Suan, and Yao had finally completed the second world after beating the second world boss. Reading that, Yao was on cloud 9, thanking our boy for helping him clear the second world. In return, Yao was ready to give our boy 1 million coins as a reward. Knowing that it was a good opportunity, even Zero did not disagree to this agreement. He told both of them that as the mission had finally been cleared, he would go back to his home and rest. Suan called out to Zero, telling him to wait a bit. The lady warned our boy that Chen had left the Misty Rain Pavilion and now was going to find a way to take revenge against him, so he should be careful. Zero was not paying much attention to this, just nodding in slight agreement and telling the lady not to worry. Meanwhile, both Yao and Suan were talking to each other, wondering if they should go to the third world together and level up. Even the lady was surprised, thinking that people are really interesting because just a few moments before, she did not like the rich brat at all, but now they had somewhat become friends. As the scene shifts, we come to the third world, which was named Approaching Death, and we see that even the safe zone of the area was full of graves. Suddenly, we see a human hand pop up from one of the graves, and it was none other than Yao himself, who was inside the third world farming and gaining experience. The subordinate was happy that their boss was having a great time. Yao told his subordinate that as they were the first group of normal class users to enter the third world, they should use this chance to level up and be the first guild in the province to defeat it. Suddenly, a large foot slammed itself onto Yao's hand, and the brat started cursing the man who was so dumb that he was walking without looking at where he was stepping. Yao saw a large man with a muscular build who asked him if he was the leader of the Supreme Guild. The mysterious man was before Zero and wanted Yao to get him to the third world. But as Yao was loyal to our boy now, he denied everything that the mysterious man asked him to do. The subordinate realized that the mysterious person was not a good one to argue with, because he was one of the old class users who were stuck in the third world. They would have leveled up a lot of times and were way stronger than Yao and the Supreme Guild. But even then, the brat was not ready to sell his friend out. As the mysterious man was getting annoyed, he immediately grabbed his sword and told Yao that if he was not going to be cooperative, then he should not blame him for having no mercy. Yao was deeply shocked by the sudden appearance of a sword and wondered what was going to happen to him next. This is the end. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more great content.